Toyota brings you the NASCAR Race Day Rewind.
Let's take a look back at some memorable moments from Las Vegas Motor Speedway.
Here comes Jimmy. I think there's a man in here. It just pulls the block going off into turn 3. Johnson goes to the high side. Drag race. Last year like this. Kenseth with the edge. Here comes Johnson. He's got him outside. He's got it. He's got it. 48. Wins. He led about 25 guys.
Sorry, you guys. You guys deserve better than me. Sorry, you guys want to race. I lost it.
Jeff's in the inside wall. He just ripped the front end off. Oh.
That's the hardest I've ever hit.
I think he's trying to save fuel. I don't know if it's going to work or not.
Then Junior is out of gas.
3/4 of a lap. You're out.
Brad Keselowski comes off the corner. Checkered flag for Keselowski.
Wow. What a race. What a finish.
A gamble that failed for Dale Earnhardt Jr.
A sandstorm has gathered steam.
There's a tremendous amount of sand and dust on this racetrack right now.
Whoa. Trouble.
2 cars around. One in the wall. How did anybody get through that smoke screen behind them?
Well, they've been running in a dust storm, so I guess a little smoke didn't hurt anything.
That's true.
NASCAR Race Day Rewind is brought to you by Toyota.
Glad you're with us live from Las Vegas NASCAR on Fox. We're going to go 400 miles. The weather here is outstanding at Las Vegas Motor Speedway.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we ask that you please rise and remove your hats as the Nellis Air Force Base Honor Guard presents our nation's colors. Please remain standing as Las Vegas Motor Speedway Chaplain Kurt Schulke offers our invocation.
Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. We ask for your protection on all the drivers, their crew members, and their families. We raise up the other track personnel, especially the emergency and safety crews who do such dedicated work. And when we say dedication, let us all remember our men and women in the military, both at home and overseas. They're keeping us and this country safe. We ask your protective hand on them as they sacrifice for the cause of freedom. We ask this holy name. Amen.
Here to present our national anthem, celebrating their 35th anniversary, 17 million albums sold worldwide, and a new album, Don't Let Up, due out March 24th. Please welcome Night Ranger.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watch were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Warm and sunny here. Excited to get going. We're glad you're watching from Las Vegas NASCAR on Fox.
Well, we're just across the street from Las Vegas Motor Speedway at Nellis Air Force Base, so of course that means we're visiting with the pilots. It's quite an honor for us and for all the race fans, I know, to have you guys involved this year. You're doing the flyover for the first time. What does that mean to you to get to be part of it?
Anytime you're doing a flyby, it's usually some sort of celebration. In this case, it's a celebration, obviously, of NASCAR, so we're excited. It's always an honor for us to get to do it.
Generally, we don't do flybys. It means a lot to us because it's not our normal activities that we get to take part in, and based on that, we're really looking forward to it.
We want to know, how do you guys get the timing to line up with the singing of the national anthem?
So there's a pilot on the ground that'll be talking to us to kind of the time of when the national anthem starts. And there it's just adjusting airspeed.
How fast are you guys flying?
When we fly over top, we should be going about 400 miles an hour.
These are the guys. We're talking all the time, but it's the pilots who keep us safe and entertained. Thanks, guys.
They do a great job, Jamie. We're proud of them, and you can follow all the action from NASCAR Goes West at Toyota Racing on Twitter. Our aerial coverage provided by Goodyear. Everything they learned making tires for the grueling demands of NASCAR inspires what rolls into yours. Goodyear, tire of NASCAR. While we're talking about Toyotas, Michael, you've joined me back here in the Hollywood Hotel. Martin Truex Jr., fastest in opening and final practices this weekend. In the last 26 races in NASCAR, he has the most wins, looking for his first one this year.
I talked to him this morning, and he said his car he was on both sides of it. He could make it tight, he could make it loose. He never had hit it exactly like he hoped, but he felt like they were really close.
The Toyota to watch today, and Kyle Busch, who has won here before, the Las Vegas native, along with brother Kurt. And you know, Brad Keselowski, you're not the only one with a sore throat. Our pole sitter, Brad Keselowski, who's won 2 of the last 3 Vegas races, including winning last week in Atlanta, he's battling a little laryngitis as well. We'll be listening in on his radio communication as well, but we're getting for the command.
And now, for the most famous words in motorsports, please welcome your Grand Marshal. He's in the Songwriters and Rock and Roll Halls of Fame, an American legend, John Fogerty.
Rock and roll! Drivers, start your engine!
Could lead us to a racing revival. Only 3 drivers have top 10 finishes in both races this season. Casey Kane, Joey Logano, and Kurt Busch, the Vegas native, in a city known for stage presence. Which driver will wind up center stage today? Let's head upstairs for the guys who will call it. Darrell, Jeff, and Mike. Mike?
Thanks, Chris. We're up on the roof. I think we'll call the race from up here. It's a beautiful sunny day. It's going to be a little hard to see the monitors in all this glare. But, Jeff, the way this racetrack drives, turns 3 and 4 is like Las Vegas Boulevard, multi-lanes. Go anywhere you want, anytime you want. Then you got to deal with 1 and 2, where the bottom lane is a little bumpy, and you get to deal with it or avoid it. Is this really 2 different racetracks?
It really is, Mike. This is such a tough, challenging mile and a half. It's super fast, and so you can really get to the edge of the grip level. But, boy, watch out for those bumps down in turn 1. I think that's the trouble spot. It's who can navigate their car to get to the bottom and stick to that white line and hook it, who can go to the top and roll the top with the momentum down the back straightaway.
Darrell, this has long been the city of no limits. But we keep talking about speed limits, 49.9 miles an hour. They're going in the corner at 195. Let's go there.
Yeah, well, drivers don't understand restrictions. You know, they don't like restrictor plates. They don't like out of bounds, and they certainly don't like limits. But the speed limit on pit road has bitten a number of these guys already this year. Kevin Harvick last week paid a huge price, cost him a win by speeding just a little wee bit over the limit.
Yep, 50.07. That's all it. You know, I think we could call the race from up here.
Let's
what do you
do
think?
it, bud.
What do you say?
Why not?
Yeah, hey, I
Boy,
like it.
Beautiful sunny day.
Yeah, we can do
a
it from
great
here.
view from the roof. Woo! You're watching Fox NASCAR from Las Vegas. Where anything can happen. We are ready to go racing in Las Vegas.
Baby, 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 let's go racing in Las Vegas, boys!
The forecast for Vegas is crazy.
Oh, that's
In
coming
front of the field.
Huge wreck. These are race cars, baby.
Keselowski to the checker. You can have it all in the Nevada desert. Snow-capped mountains and 80-degree temperatures here. Welcome to Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series racing from Las Vegas, presented by Mobil 1. Beautiful day for racing. They talked us down from the roof. We can't see the replays from there. Darn it. Let's have a look at the starting lineup for today's 400-miler with Brad Keselowski and Martin Truex. Quickest in practice, and they share the front row.
I like that 21 car. He's a dark horse, but I tell you, he's going to be somebody to keep an eye on.
Row 3, Kyle Larson and Joey Logano, who won here yesterday.
In row 7, I tell you, another young gun. I'm high on these young guns today. Eric Jones, that's a kid that I think just might be able to pull it off.
Mike DW, I certainly got my eyes on row 5, Kyle Busch. Past winner here. He's fast in practice.
Young guns, how about row 6, Danny Suarez and Chase Elliott. Row 7, veterans, Clint Boyer and Paul Menard. Denny Hamlin and the defending series champ Jimmy Johnson in row 8. Daytona 500 winner Kurt Busch with Dale Earnhardt Jr. in row 9.
So what do you say we dial up our outside pole setter here? Martin Truex Jr., DW, got to copy my man. And DW to the 78. Are you there, buddy? Try one more time. Hey, Martin Truex Jr., DW, got me, buddy?
Hey, DW.
All right, we're having trouble getting you there, man. Hey, you're up on that front row. Old car's been looking pretty good the last few weeks. What are your chances today, my man?
We'll have to wait and see. We've kind of been all over the balance this weekend, but when we get it right, cars got really good speed. So we'll see if we hit it right today, and if we did, we'll fight it all day long, trying to get it better at the end. But looking forward to it. Should be a lot of fun out here today.
How you think the track being hot, think that's going to make a difference in the way you run this racetrack today there, Martin?
Oh, yeah, I'd say. It's going to be a handful. Should be a lot of fun. Guys, enjoy it up there.
All right, buddy. You were fastest in final practice. Good luck.
Thank you.
Martin Truex starting outside pole. Let's get some late breaking stories, starting with a little hometown flavor for pit road. Jamie Little.
Thanks so much, Mike. Well, it's been a great week for Brad Keselowski coming off that big win at Atlanta a week ago. And then Friday night, he captured the pole for the second time here in Las Vegas. But I talked to his crew chief, Paul Wolf, this morning, and he said, even though we were the fastest on Friday, I don't have that winning feeling just yet. With this new package here, with these high temperatures today, there's so many unknowns. And on top of that, you guys mentioned it, Brad Keselowski, a little laryngitis. He's going to be hard to hear on the radio today. Watch for communication to be a factor. Matt Yoakum?
Jamie, the lessons continue for rookie Daniel Suarez. He'll be the second car pitting off turn 4 for the simple reason. His crew chief, Dave Rogers, wants to limit the amount of situations that he puts himself in while pitting. He wants him to be able to hit his box and then on exit just ride his pit road lights all the way because there's just so much gamesmanship, whether brake checking or hitting the throttle. Doesn't want that to spear their run here today in Vegas. Vince Welsh?
Well, it's been a tough start to the season for Dale Earnhardt Jr. in this 88 team. 37th at Daytona, 30th last week at Atlanta. But those results aren't indicative of how well they've actually run. Junior's had confidence in the cars, and the cars have had good speed, and the same can be said for the package that they brought here this weekend. So avoid the mistakes, avoid the bad breaks, put the whole race together. I think you'll see the 88 back up toward the front today.
Vince, we're in Las Vegas. We're going to gamble a little bit. You watch these crew chiefs. They're going to roll the dice a little bit on strategy today. And the weatherman, he just keeps on being a NASCAR fan. It is absolutely perfect weather, right around 80 degrees with just a slight breeze, sunny the entire race. Let's take a look at the race analysis. 257 laps, 400 miles. Our first two stages are 80 laps. The final stage, 107 laps. DW talked about it. Pit road speed, 45 miles per hour. The fuel window, 52 to 58 laps. Our grip level of the racetrack, 3. And 3 drivers going to the rear, Mike, for backup car, a gear change, and a transmission change.
Thanks, Larry. Ready to race in Las Vegas. Here's the 2018 Toyota Camry XSE that leads the field. Going to be tough for these spotters the first half of the race because down in turn 1, all they're going to see is glare off the roofs of these cars. Here's your pole sitter.
Hi, Brad. Have a good race out there. Excellent job on Friday. Got a good start spot and a great pit stall. So no mistakes today, guys. Just do your part, nice and smooth, and we'll be there at the end to have a shot at it.
Mike, this is what Boogity was meant for. Days like today, in cities like this, I want everybody to get up on their feet. Let's send these guys and gals off on the start here. Boogity, boogity, boogity. Viva Las Vegas. Let's go racing, boys.
Martin Truex. Big wind up off turn number 2. Edges ahead of Keselowski. Midpoint of the backstretch. Keselowski stuffs it into turn 3. Forges ahead.
And slid up right in front of Martin Truex Jr. I don't know if he meant to do that, but I think that they're right now they're feeling the grip level, and I guarantee this track is really slick right now.
Yeah, it's been laying there in the hot sun. No cars on it. It's going to take a little bit of time. These cars will cool it down a little, but not much.
Oh, now we see Martin Truex Jr. slide up in front of Ryan Blaney, which is going to give an opportunity to Larson on the inside. Looks like Larson's going to complete that pass.
Larson to third, Blaney fourth, Logano fifth. Keselowski leads the first 2 laps, and they head off, and those cars on the inside have to deal with the bottom of turn 1.
Yeah, you're going to see a lot of options down here in turn 1. Rarely are they going to go through the middle. Either they're going to be on the white line on the bottom or up there where Dale Earnhardt Jr. is up high. That groove will continue to widen out as rubber gets laid down on this track with these Goodyear tires. And you've got to have a car that gets over those bumps or you're going to lose it.
You know, Jeff, seems like high in 1 and 2, get above the bumps, but then back to the bottom in 3 and 4, where it seems to be the fastest way around the track at this time.
Momentum is so important here at this racetrack. A lot of grip, especially in the early stages. You're going to have to be very aggressive on the restarts.
Wow, rush hour right there on the right. Jimmy Johnson. Denny Hamlin.
Getting a big boost of momentum right there as he got back in the throttle early in the middle 1 and 2.
Car gets a little bit loose. You got to get out of the throttle, and man, everybody takes advantage of you.
You mentioned it, Mike, as we started the show today. 2 completely different ends of the racetrack. Down in 3 and 4, wide, smooth racetrack. Down here, right hugged around the bottom. Up top, you got a nice groove up there, but those bumps are really difficult to deal with. So it just makes a compromise back and forth from one end to the other as a driver and as a crew chief in the setup very challenging.
You just got to be a little bit careful early on here, Mike. The top groove is still a little dirty. There's a lot of dust and dirt up there. They will inch it up, but you got to be careful early on.
And you can see Denny Hamlin riding that high line, waiting for it to come in, but it hasn't come in yet. He's lost 2 or 3 spots here at the start.
Well, the low groove is the short way, maybe the fast way around, but boy, that top groove gives you such a launch off turn 2.
And that's the big advantage, Mike, especially in 1 and 2. You get a nice run down that back straightaway. When you come off high, your car is free. You really get a great straightaway speed.
Yeah, and maybe you don't use the tires up quite as much down there as well.
Jimmy Johnson in the 48, who started 16th, and Kevin Harvick, who started 19th in the 4. Working the orange car, rookie Daniel Suarez.
Well, I knew it was going to be a lot of fun watching these 2 veterans come from mid-pack, and they're certainly making that happen right now.
Jeff, you're talking about the bumps, so that will use your tires up crabbing through those bumps because the car wants to undulate through there, and it really puts a lot of undue pressure on those tires.
We see right here a battle between Denny Hamlin, Dale Earnhardt Jr. Hamlin back to the bottom, but Jr., it looks like that top groove, now that the air pressures are starting to build up, maybe that top groove's starting to come in. Vince?
You know, Junior's crew chief Greg Ives was telling me today, he said he thinks the drivability here goes through 3 stages. You almost have to start with the splitter on the ground, which creates an ill-handling car. You got to start at that low because of the air pressures, and then the tire pressures come up and the splitter raises up off the ground and the drivability improves a little bit. But then the longer you run, the tires get harder and the ride quality lessens. So the driver's got to deal with that, and the crew chief has got to try to give the driver a car that he can manage that. Challenging.
Thanks, Vince. 2 building stories. One is Denny Hamlin going backwards. The other, here's Jimmy Johnson going forwards. Matt.
Mike, Jimmy Johnson's never started the year with 3 straight races without a top 10. He had a 34th at Daytona, 19th last week. He couldn't have picked a better place to get back on track with 4 wins here. Chad Canals told me today is all about execution and no mistakes. The car very maneuverable in practice.
Mike, it's really no different than anything else we do in life. Racing's all about compromise. You get a car that's got too low air pressure, it bounces off the splitter. So you got to wait for that to come to you. You get a car that won't ride the bumps, you got to run above the bumps. You're constantly having to make compromises as this race unfolds.
And Jimmy Johnson has a fast race car, but if you were listening right then, you could hear him have to get out of the throttle as the car started going through those bumps in the 1 and 2.
9 laps complete. Brad Keselowski from the pole has led them all in Las Vegas. 9 Las Vegas wins out of 19 races here for Ford, and Brad has won 2 of the last 3 here in Las Vegas.
You talk about tracks. I tell you, Martin Truex is running right in the tire tracks of Brad Keselowski in that 2 car, right with him all the way around the racetrack.
And I'll tell you who's flying further back, and that's Kevin Harvick. He's gotten by Jimmy Johnson, making some great lap times. Already in lap traffic for these leaders.
Look at that exit of turn 4 and just how close they come to that wall.
Yeah, well, they make that safer barrier. Look at it, how it shakes that barrier as it comes off of there.
Oh, caution at lap 18. Somebody blowed up at turn 2. Oh, that looks like Corey LaJoie.
It's a big hit. I know that.
Get out of there. Look.
He's up in smoke.
Yeah, tough break for the rookie, 3rd generation driver. Had a new sponsor this weekend, and tough break there.
Certainly hard to say if that's a tire that blew and then caused all that, the fire and the flames underneath it, because he certainly made contact, I'm assuming, with the outside wall pretty hard.
Yeah, I was really happy for Corey. He's getting an opportunity to run these Monster Energy races. I was really happy for him. I just hadn't been able to capitalize just yet.
You can see there he's already made contact with the outside wall, the right
hard
front.
lick.
Woo. It's possible maybe some oil got underneath the right side of the car and caused him to lose control and get into the outside wall.
You can see there, lost the steering and the brakes as that thing rolls to a halt and he hops out. First caution of the day. Brad Keselowski has led every lap so far. Jeffrey Earnhardt receives the free pass on his caution flag.
Heard that Brad was a little bit under the weather. That
laryngitis.
Laryngitis. Hope he's feeling all right. He's probably feeling real good about now.
I know my team always liked it when I couldn't talk.
Guys, I think we're going to see them hit pit road, because when we go back racing, that puts us all but right there, being able to make it to the end of stage 1 at lap 80. Plus, the pace had slowed down well over a second and a half.
Stage 1 and 2, 80 laps apiece. Stage 3, 107. Pit road's open, Matt.
And Ryan Blaney finished 6th here a year ago. Early on, he says his 21 car is too free into the corner and through the center. They're going to make one chassis adjustment on the 21. Vince.
The 78 of Martin Truex, coming off an 8th place run last week at Atlanta, said it's just too loose. He tried to make a track bar adjustment. They're going to make an air pressure adjustment here as well. Kyle Larson, upper right. He said it's good to start, but then gets too loose, too quick. Jamie?
Both Penske cars very good all weekend long. Joey Logano said he's a little free all around. Loose for Brad Keselowski as well. Air pressure adjustment, 4-tire stop, wipe the grill for Brad Keselowski. And he loses the battle off pit road, guys.
Wow, and what a dust up there as Eric Almirola backed up in the pit lane to try to get into his stall. And now they'll complete the service on his car, but boy, he was a chicane there for a moment.
Common denominator in that round of pit stops, I'm loose.
Welcome back to Las Vegas, part of NASCAR Goes West, presented by Toyota. Las Vegas this week, Phoenix next week, then Southern California. Cleanup continues. Martin Truex's crew gets to celebrate a bit. They beat Brad Keselowski off pit road, and Truex has the lead. Up complete in turn 2 from Corey LaJoie. A little audio about Brad Keselowski and entering the pits under caution.
Did you get a message from NASCAR about our pit road entry?
Yeah, they want them to stay out, right? Is that what they told you?
Yeah, but I don't know where the rule is written that we come down pit road in the right lane. But I get that that's what they're telling us. So
yeah, that's what the official says.
We watch here, Brad Keselowski comes on to pit road. You're supposed to be out against that white line, against the grass, single file. But look where Brad is. He's 1.5 lanes to the inside. I'm not sure if, why exactly he wanted to do that, but they gave him a warning. I don't know if there's actually a rule. I do know there's a warning now that just came.
Got to be single foul, and he was just over to the left a little bit.
Well, he was the leader, so he was single file.
Yeah.
Nobody followed him.
Yeah. There's a method to his madness, I promise.
There is a written rule. I have it here on the card.
Read the card.
We're coming to green to complete lap 24. First caution of the day. Truex, Keselowski, Logano, Blaney, Kyle Busch, Kenseth, the first 3 rows. And we're back to green.
Last week in Atlanta, it's all about spinning the tires or not spinning the tires. Here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, it's going to be all about carrying momentum or taking them 3 wide as we see the 4 going inside the 42.
Yeah, you can get out on the apron here and pass some cars if you can get it, if you time it right.
Look at the 2 car. Keselowski's going to get just to the edge of the bumper on that 78. He might. No, it doesn't clear him going into turn 3, but look at him drive in deep. I think he's going to make this stick. That is impressive and very important.
Martin Truex was down on the bottom, and Keselowski had that power coming up off the outside of 2, and he was able to clear him down the back.
Let's watch the 4 car. You can see the 42 of Larson. He knew it was coming. He moved down there to block it, but he just couldn't get there in time. The 4 of Kevin Harvick gets to the inside. He doesn't make it stick, though. Look at the 42 of Larson fighting back.
Remember, unlike Daytona and Talladega, that inside line is not out of bounds. If it's paved, you can go there.
But Larson is a fighter. We know that. He's not going to give up anything.
So Brad Keselowski back to the lead, Jamie.
And Brad Keselowski's a 2-time winner here. He typically loves to run the bottom here. That's his favorite place to be. But in practice, Paul Wolf, his crew chief, told me he was very impressed with Brad and his ability to move up. He was really focusing on getting the car better in that 2nd and even 3rd groove, and it paid off as we saw right there.
I mentioned in the pre-race show, I like, if I'm a driver, I want to be unpredictable. I don't want everybody to say, oh, you know he's going to go high, or oh, gee, you know he's going to hug the bottom. I like to be a second guess me. Where am I going to go?
Yeah, and I think it'll weigh into the decision if Mark Truex Jr. gets that opportunity again. Will he choose the inside or outside lane? But one of the things I want to point out, we talked about this last week in Atlanta, those Penske cars are so fast on short runs. They have something in their setup, something in the mechanical side of their cars or aerodynamically allows them to take off so fast and make those passes like we just saw there on Mark Truex Jr.
Well, the track position is so important, and they're really good at getting that and holding that. Even if they fall off a little bit, by the time it's time to make a pit stop, it kind of works itself out.
Yeah, guys, I have the pit road penalty card right here in my hand, and one of the rules says that vehicles must enter pit road single file. Then they told them at the drivers' meeting, stay out against the grass on the entrance of pit road, which means stay out there and enter single file, Jeff.
And I know that that's what they said, but that's not a rule. That's a warning. That's saying we would like for you to do that. So now he has a warning. Now it may become a rule in the future.
I've learned that those drivers' meetings, they can become a rule real quick.
Yeah. I always like to, I never was a rule breaker, but I was known to be a rule maker.
Well, Keselowski entered the pits as the leader, so he's single file no matter what happens behind him. But they did clarify it in the drivers' meeting, so we'll see how it plays out.
Just back to that, what he was doing, Mike, he was doing that for a reason. He knows the rule. He knows you're supposed to be out next to the white line. He moved over a little bit to block someone's view or to keep someone from pulling up behind him. There was some method to his madness, I assure you.
There always is.
Always is.
Back at 20th place, Denny Hamlin's 11, battling Suarez in the 19, and Austin Dillon in the 3. Matt?
Mike, an issue that seems to pop up here at Las Vegas every time Denny Hamlin comes, just 2 free on entry. He's had that issue again. They made a Packer change on that stop. That's why he lost a few spots on pit road, and they made an air pressure adjustment trying to tighten up that 11. Meanwhile, rookie Daniel Suarez, such a student of the game. That's why he's had such success early on in his NASCAR career. Talking to drivers, watching race film. Well, now those options have increased with all the data systems, the ECU data, while they're having a lead change. Meanwhile, looking at the 19, he went the wrong way because he never had the option of the track bar adjuster in Xfinity. He went the wrong way. The team adjusted for that.
Up front, Truex has caught but not passed Brad Keselowski for the lead. He's had a couple of tries at him over the last couple of laps and now settles back in the leader's tire tracks.
I think it's a little bit what Jeff was talking about. That 78 is a good long run car, always has been. We saw that several times last year, and now we see it today. The 2, on the other hand, he falls back a little bit after a while.
Now, great heads-up move on Brad Keselowski right there. He saw where the 78 was searching around behind him, trying to find some clean air. He'd been running a little bit higher down in 1 and 2. What does Brad Keselowski do? He's so attentive to his mirror, what's going on behind him. He moves up, takes that high line away, and look at him, creates a distance.
Kyle Busch has moved up to 5th. He's passed Kevin Harvick. Look at the speeds of the leaders.
You know, one thing I heard Keselowski say after qualifying was, he said, these cars really accelerate off the corner. He said, you can really feel it. It's a real rush because of that smaller rear spoiler. They don't have the drag in the car that we've had in the past. He said these things will boogie down that straightaway.
Corey LaJoie checked and released from the infield care center after bringing out the first caution of the day with a crash in turn 2 at lap 18. 7th place.
See Chase Elliott going to the inside of the 42. Larson checks up a little bit early. Doesn't want to fight that spot in that position too early in the race, and saw the 24. Chase Elliott was coming.
And here comes Eric Jones in the 77 after Clint Boyer's Ford.
So impressed with this young man. Last week, he did a great job battling through, getting the car set up for a difficult racetrack at Atlanta Motor Speedway, and then getting a good result out of it. And here he is battling Las Vegas Motor Speedway and Clint Boyer.
We had dinner with Eric on Thursday night. He has a quiet confidence about him. You can just tell it exudes from him as he sits in there. If you ask him a question, the way he answers you, the way he handles himself, really a talented young man.
Trevor Bayne, Austin Dillon fighting for a spot right at the end of the top 20.
Mike, you know, it's something I really like. I appreciate about drivers. They're battling for 20th. You know, you would think, oh, I'll just pull over and let him go. It's just 20th. But that's not the way these guys think. That's a position.
They're closing on Denny Hamlin, 19th.
Yeah, boy. I mean, Denny's had some decent success here in the past. He hasn't won a race here, but I know he led some woes. You see the 3 get loose underneath the 6, being aggressive, trying to make that pass for 20th position. But back to Denny Hamlin, this is definitely uncharacteristic of he and Joe Gibbs Racing.
And the other thing I think might be a factor is the stages. You want to be in the top 10, get some of those stage points. So you're going to race harder mid-pack, I think, than you ever have before.
And this, again, goes back to Eric Jones and his abilities. I love watching him search around the racetrack, found a different line, saw what Clint Boyer was doing, and he went, found a way to get by him and make the pass.
Next time by will be halfway in stage 1. Let's get a nationwide Dale Jr. performance report from Vince.
Well, the first run for Junior, his only complaint was that it was a little too free on entry, but said it was pretty good everywhere else. Since the pit stop, he says it's more tight in the center now. So they'll work on that right rear of the car and maybe take some of that wedge out that they put in earlier. So they'll see if that will help Dale Earnhardt Jr. But right now, not too bad in the early going, the first stage 1 here.
After 40 laps, Earnhardt is 16th. Coca-Cola family of drivers are faring just past halfway in stage 1 of this 3-stage race. Joey Logano in 3rd, Newman, Hamlin, Dillon in the top 20.
Yeah, watching this battle here for 2nd place, Joey Logano, as we see him search up the racetrack in turns 3 and 4. He's definitely been one of the fastest cars, including his teammate Brad Keselowski out front leading, but good chance he might get to the outside of the 78 or get a pass made on him here pretty soon.
Mike, I don't think it's any coincidence. You got the 2 leading the race, Keselowski. You got Logano running 3rd. You got Blaney running 4th, and you got Harvick running 6th. Those are all Fords. I think the addition of Stuart Haas to the Ford camp has raised everybody's effort. I think it's made everybody better.
Joey Logano has the fastest 10-lap average over the last 10 laps as he closes in on second place. And let's look at that black and silver car, Casey Kane.
Whoa, yes,
off
sir.
turn 4.
Tail happy.
It's not the only place here that is a little bit slick. Jamie.
Well, one thing on all the pit crews' minds when we come to Las Vegas, they tell me these are the slickest pit boxes of all of the racetracks we go to. So these pit crew members, they take things like Coke, they cut a hole in the top, and they spray all over to help that traction. Before we went green, I watched the guys practicing, and I saw 2 slip. They're definitely keeping this in mind, but substances like Coca-Cola helping the pit crews out today.
Yeah, that's a great report there, Jamie. Even though a lot of the tracks and most of the tracks we go to have concrete for their pit stalls, the way they finish that final surface area can make the difference, whether it's abrasive or whether it's slick like here at Las Vegas.
Most all tracks are concrete nowadays, and a lot of them where Indy cars have run in the past or where they run now is because Indy cars had those jacks, and if it was asphalt, they kind of sunk into the asphalt, so everybody started going to the concrete pit road.
You know, the fan may be asking, so why don't they just spray a substance like VHT or something like that? NASCAR does not allow that. The only thing you can use is something like the syrup out of the Coca-Cola.
Yeah, VHT is a traction compound. Sometimes short tracks spray and drag strips spray it on their racing surface for better grip.
Yeah, sometimes Bristol does too.
I guess you could have a rule, Larry, but you can't help a fan from spilling a soda on pit road as they walk along, right?
All through the grandstands.
Yeah, that VHT, they raced, you know, they put that on the track at Bristol, and it really helped.
Paul Menard, 27. Denny Hamlin in the 11. That's for 18th.
You know, I saw a lot of this through practice. So many of the cars are so close in lap times, and that's what I'm seeing here. I know Keselowski's out, you know, got a little bit of clean air, but if you look back behind, the times are so identical all the way back down to about 12th, 14th position. There's only about a 10th, maybe a 10th and a half in between them.
And that must make passing really difficult.
It does, Mike, and don't get me on my soapbox here now, but everybody's got the same amount of horsepower, pretty close. Everybody's got the same rear gear ratio. It just makes it hard to pass. You don't have any advantage.
You think that maybe adds to why they're pushing those limits on pit road to try to get any advantage they possibly can? It's why these pit crews train so hard to make faster pit stops. It's also why all those pit road penalties.
And that's why they talk about track position, you know, where we are on a restart, clean air. All those things are factors that make you better than the other guy.
See Dale Jr. working that outside lane, carried some momentum. It's going to get to the outside of Eric Jones.
Yeah, Jeff, yesterday in the Xfinity race, we saw a couple of drivers literally up in the gray of the racetrack. They were running so high through the corners. I'm watching Dale Jr. He's starting to make a lot of progress, and he's definitely up higher than anyone else is. Watch him through Jones's windshield as he gets down to turn 1. He's going to go way up the track, and he's making it work.
Yeah, Michael, you're right. They want to get the right side tires right to the edge of that gray. You see the difference between where the rubbers lay down the racetrack and create a black surface, but right to the edge of that's gray. There's a little bit of grip there. Junior does an amazing job working that area of the racetrack. See him diving underneath the 15 and sliding up to the edge of it. And you know who I'm surprised we haven't seen up there is Kyle Larson. He works that outside so well, but it's not working for him right now.
I think that's a habit he's trying to break. You think back to last week, he ran the bottom all day long until the very end. I think he's trying to, I know his team is on him, man. Just try to run the bottom.
Now, as we went to the restart, Larry Mack said we are very close to the window of being able to go all the way to the end of stage 1 without another stop for fuel. So, Matt, are they in the window or are they out on the ledge?
They are very close on both, Mike. The ledge almost out the window. I talked to Jeremy Boland, the crew chief on the 21 of Blaney. He told me that they are very close. At one point, he instructed Blaney while they were still under caution to try to save a little bit of fuel on that 21.
Larry, speaking of the 21, what did Leonard Wood tell you about that 21 car?
Yeah, I talked to Leonard Wood, one of the owners on the Wood Brothers, number 21 this morning. I said, you know, your little chauffeur is doing good, Ryan Blaney. He said, we are totally convinced if we're not fast, we better work on that race car.
I love that. That's so much confidence for the driver.
Leonard Wood, Hall of Fame mechanic and crew chief in NASCAR for many years. There he is.
There he is, right there. He's the man.
Not just in NASCAR. Ford asked the Wood brothers to go to Indianapolis, and he crew chiefed Jim Clark to an Indy 500 victory.
He builds so many miniature cars. He drove Jim Clark's the Indy car. He built a replica of the car that Leonard drove at Bowman Gray. He built a replica of. This man is a fascinating fabricator and mechanic.
Kyle Larson battling with Jimmy Johnson there for 8th place. How about today's AARP Keys to the Drive, Jeff?
Well, I know Vegas is known for no limits, but I say know your limits. Accelerating and carrying a lot of speed through turns 1 and 2 can not only gain you positions, but also hold off those challengers on restarts. The groove, which one are you going to choose? It's really going to widen out here, as we've already seen, so drivers will need to hook the bottom, that white line, or roll the top while avoiding those bumps in the middle, 1 and 2. And the best teams will minimize mistakes. A late race mistake could cost you the win, just like it did last week for Kevin Harvick, that number 4 team in Atlanta.
Johnson unable to complete the pass here of Kyle Larson. Now this action is happening about 8.5 seconds behind leader Brad Keselowski, and Martin Truex now 2 seconds back. 60 laps complete, 20 to go in stage 1. We'll take you side by side on Fox NASCAR. 65 laps complete in Las Vegas. Brad Keselowski continues to lead, dominating this race much as Kevin Harvick did last week in Atlanta. Mark Truex Jr. closing 1.6 seconds back of the leader now. It was 2 seconds when we went to break. That's where Joey Logano is in third, 2 seconds back. Ryan Blaney 2.8 and Kyle Busch 3.8 back. They're your top 5.
Wonder who's in the fuel saving mode, though. I wonder if Keselowski here running out front, maybe he's backing off a little bit, saving a little fuel, got a little cushion between he and Martin, so maybe he's saving a little gas light right now.
Let's listen in on 5th place Kyle Busch about his car.
I believe that was Kyle Busch on this whole lap, pushing the button and talking to his team. You know, that's the thing about having that smaller rear spoiler.
Oh, turn 1 hard in the wall. One car crashes and rides the rim. I believe a tire went down on Kevin Harvick's car, and it shot straight into the wall in the short chute between the quad oval and turn 1.
Boy, he was running in 6th spot.
Yeah, that happened early, before he ever even got to turn 1.
Man, he hammered that thing good. I rattled his cage a little bit there, guys. He's slow.
Darrell, that's one of the hardest hits I've seen here.
I agree.
Thank goodness there's that safer barrier all the way down the front straightaway here.
Now we'll see him first in turn 4 on replay.
See it come up through the hood.
Yep.
Nothing he can do there.
Your brakes, hold your brakes. Talk to me when you can.
you know, this front straightaway is just one big long curve, so that tire doesn't get much of a rest here, especially if depending on how much camber and the type of air pressure you have there. A lot of load on that right front.
Guys, this could be the money stop for stage 1. You better not have any mistake whatsoever.
Pit road open.
Or not come in at all.
Stayed way out there. Here's Matt.
A great pit crew getting ready to go to work here on the 21. Ryan Flores hitting the lugs in that right front. Blaney said the car, when he moved up, was too free on exit, so he worked the track bar adjuster, Vince.
Martin Truex Jr. has been running up in the top 5 all day long, but he says he's just too loose into turn 1 and off turn 4 and starting to get tight through the center. Going to make a significant judgment here on the 78, Jamie.
Kyle Busch car really responsive and sensitive to the changes. His car's gotten a lot better since the start. Meanwhile, Brad Keselowski in the 2 felt like the tires were falling off a lot quicker that time. Happy to get this new rubber put on 4 tires, and the race off continues, guys.
3 wide, middle pack there.
Must be no rule on exiting pits.
No. 2 tire change for Jamie McMurray. He's the first one out, but he won't be the leader. Kevin Harvick climbs out okay after a really hard hit. That car went from the bottom of the racetrack, cut front tire, and hard into the wall on the outside. Joey Logano does not pit. He's your new leader. Las Vegas, Kevin Harvick hard into the wall with the right front out of the race. He was one of 3 drivers who'd scored points in every stage this season so far. Joey Logano, is he point fishing as we get close to the end of stage 1? Jamie.
Yes, he stayed out. Todd Gordon with the call there. Why the decision to stay out with 10 laps to go before the end of the stage at that point?
Figured it'd be a handful of laps to go. I thought we'd drag a couple people with us and have a buffer to the cars on stickers. Obviously, one car took 2. He'll be outside of us, but 4 tires behind us. But Joey's pretty good on playing defense. We single-digit laps till the end of the session. So we'll hang on, see what we got.
A lot of drivers saving fuel. Are you guys good to go to the end?
I think we're fine. I think we were fine on that green flag run. So this just bought us a little bit of cushion.
All right, Joey Logano, our leader right now.
72 complete, 8 laps left in this first stage. And Larry, let's take a look at how these crew chiefs and teams can help out with the Liberty Mutual Insurance Worry Less strategy.
Well, Mike, the first one is mutual trust. It's what Todd Gordon told Joey Logano. Have faith in the strategy I'm going with. Trust your pit crew. Don't push it on pit road. We're going to make it up. We're going to make the difference with the stop and bumps in the road. I know the bumps are bad in 1 and 2. Just keep giving me feedback, and we'll keep making the right adjustments.
And those crews can help their drivers worry less.
And where are we, Mike? We're in Las Vegas. Don't you think this would be a good place to do a little gambling?
That's what Joey Logano and team have done. So have Jamie McMurray, going with just the 2 tires here. Team audio from the 24, Chase Elliott.
I think we were pretty good that run. Yeah, no, I mean, we're loose, but everybody is, you know, and it, I mean, really, it happens at the same time for everybody. Like, as soon as I start noticing it, I see other people start struggling too, so just going to be who gets it the best.
Jeff, I guess if you're going to gamble, stage 1's a good time to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. We actually, saw some different strategies happen in the Xfinity race yesterday. You're going to see it again today when these late cautions happen in a stage. I look at the decision making that Joey Logano right here. He chose the outside. He's going to have his teammate Brad Keselowski behind him, and then you have the one of Jamie McMurray on the inside. I look for this to be 3 or 4 wide before we even get past turn 1 because of the new tires versus the olders.
They're going to add 1 lap here. Cleanup not quite complete down in turn 1.
And that's music to Todd Gordon's ears.
Oh,
Just keep adding laps. That's the fewer laps that we have to run to end this stage.
But one thing I liked about Chase Elliott, that is a great observation. My car is loose, but so is everyone else's. You just want your car to be better than everybody else's, and that means it's not going to be perfect, but it's better than the field.
But Larry, here's where I worry about this strategy. So let's say we go back and we have 5 laps or 4 laps. He's going to come in. Others are probably going to stay out. He's going to lose all this track position.
This was all about trying to win this stage. Yeah, I would say when we get to the end of stage 1, most of these drivers are going to stay out. Worst case, just right sides only. Logano will have to change forward.
Look what Kevin Harvick's done winning stages. He's our points leader. and he hadn't won a race.
39 regular season points he's earned.
Yeah, so I think there's a lesson learned.
10 championship points to the stage winner. Here's our aerial coverage provided by Goodyear. Everything they learn making tires for the grueling demands of NASCAR inspires what rolls into yours. Goodyear, official tire of NASCAR. It'll be 5 laps to go in stage 1. At the end of stage 1, racing ends when you cross the start-finish line at lap 80. Once the 10th place car crosses that line, because points are awarded 10th through 1 for the top 10 drivers, the caution flag will wave. Joey Logano on worn tires is elected the outside. Jamie McMurray with 2 fresh tires takes the inside. Everybody behind them has 4 brand new Goodyears.
It seems like you want to line up with who you think the best pusher is, and in this case that'd be his teammate Keselowski in it too. So we'll see how that works out.
You're assuming he's going to push him.
Green flag.
He'll push him, I guarantee you. Probably push him out of the way.
He sure did.
Remember, Joey Logano yesterday, he's had to survive 5 late race restarts to win yesterday.
Well, he slid up the racetrack. I think the one in McMurray. No, look, here comes a 78 if Truex taking advantage of that. Look who's coming up the middle on Larson.
Boy, that was the worn tire slide into turn 1.
Yikes. Boy, this is not going to work out well for Joey Logano.
Well, you know what? If I was going to try it, I'd try it now and not do it later. Look at this. What a gaggle.
3 wide for 7th. Look right here.
Right here.
Yikes.
Johnson in the 48, Keselowski in the 2, Logano backing up with those old tires in the 22. Up front, it's Truex running away from McMurray, then Larson and Busch side by side for 3rd.
Whoa, close. Close.
And here comes Blaney on the inside in the 21.
Boy, did you see how tight that got? And here comes the 24 as well, getting a run to the 18. Well, these guys are going for it. That was so tight between the right front fender and the left rear of Larson coming off of turn 4.
3 to go.
You think stage points aren't important?
I think they're big. 3 to go in stage 1.
Man, these guys are racing like the last lap.
Logano went from the lead to 14th in 2 laps. 16th now.
Looked like it took a couple laps for the 2 to get going to Brad Keselowski as well, but here he comes. Making a move on the inside of the 18.
2 to go in stage 1. Pit road is closed.
I am impressed with Jamie McMurray with those 2 tires holding on there. Whoa. As he wiggles as his teammate Kyle Larson goes to the inside. He's going to complete the pass for 2nd.
Those 2 tires are just about going to make it to the end of the stage.
Right now, 10th is Earnhardt. He would be the last driver to receive a stage point here. 1 more lap in stage 1.
Logano settled in about 18th place, so those 2 no tires decision was not the best decision.
Blaney around the outside, looking for 3rd. Gets it.
Now this would be my concern if I'm Jamie McMurray. I think he's going to have to come in and get tires on the stop as well, so didn't pay off for him either.
He went from 11th to 2nd on the 2-tire change. He'll get some points, but not as many as he'd like.
Big wiggle underneath the 24 Chase Elliott by Jamie McMurray, but he held on to it.
Truex wins stage 1 from Kyle Larson. Ryan Blaney 3rd. Toyota, Chevy, Ford in the first 3 spots. Keselowski and Elliott the top 5, then McMurray, Johnson, Kyle Busch, Kenseth, and Earnhardt.
Look at those youngins up there. 42, 21, Larson, Blaney, Chase Elliott. Kids playing rough today.
Truex Jr. is your stage 1 winner in the Kobalt Tools 400. And pit road will be open this time.
Kind of felt like that 78 was going to be a strong contender.
Larry, you only got 6 green flag laps on your tires. What do you think?
Oh, I'm definitely out. If I'm at the front, I'm staying out because we need to get to about 104, 105 to be able to make it to the end of this stage. So I think the majority of what you're seeing, a lot of them hit pit road. I bet you'll see some right sides only.
Matt?
could see some varying strategies here. For the 21, the initial call was to go for 4 tires. They had a hiccup on their previous stop on the left rear with a lug. They lost 3 spots, but gained that back up and added 1. He hit pit road in 3rd. 19 is in as well. They're taking tires.
Jamie?
And the 41 of Kurt Busch in, as well as the 18 Kyle Busch, saying it is plowing. This car does not like this package. That's what we've heard him say all weekend long. The 22, he had stayed out, finally getting 4 fresh tires, making a chassis adjustment as well. A loose race car like so many. Boyer off and away as well.
Hey, Martin, this is Jeff up in the FS1 booth. Congratulations on winning stage 1. We're seeing some varying strategies. How important is it to have these fresh tires?
It was definitely important there, you know. Definitely got lined up in the right spot there, was able to take advantage of them. So they definitely feel better. There's a lot of fall off, and the track's pretty slick today. So definitely want to have them if you can.
All right, yeah. I mean, it's certainly looking like a lot of rubber's laying down. The groove's widening out. You still feeling good about the bottom? You've been so good down there, but we saw you searching around. Which part of the racetrack you think is going to be the way to go later?
I think it's just going to keep moving around. You know how it is. Rubber gets picked up under caution, gets laid down as we run. So just got to move around as needed. And, you know, we were off a little bit at the beginning. I feel like we've gotten our car better. So we'll just continue working on it and try to keep up with the racetrack. See if we can't win another stage and hopefully go to victory lane when this thing's over.
All right, thanks for talking to us. Good luck in stage 2.
Thank you, guys.
83 laps in the book. It's a hot day in the Nevada desert. 80 here in Vegas, 95 next week in Phoenix.
Rock and roll, 267 laps around this 1.5-mile racetrack.
Hell yeah. It's going to be a handful. Should be a lot of fun.
Have a good day, guys. They're going to penalize him for that. You can't do that. I can't believe you just did that. I don't know where the rules is written that we have to come down pit road in the right lane. All right, brother. Okay.
Weird spot to blow tires. Might have run something over, you know.
85 laps complete. We should get 1 to go. As we're into stage 2, it's the first time Kevin Harvick has ever failed to finish a race here at Las Vegas. Jamie Little caught up with him.
Kevin Harvick has been checked and released. Kevin, I talked to your crew chief this morning and said he saw no tire issues. He went conservative. Any idea what led to it?
It started vibrating about 4 or 5 laps there before it blew out, and I was just trying to ride it to the end of the stage there, and obviously it didn't make it. So worst part was the medical response. Took them forever to get to the car. I thought we made that better, but obviously we haven't. But all in all, our Mobile 1 annual protection Ford was running good. We were just too loose right there. It's not like we were even tight. So it either just cut the tire, came apart, or melted the bead.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Thanks, Kevin.
So Harvick out of the race will surrender the point lead.
Yeah, obviously very frustrated Kevin Harvick right there.
We get set for the restart. There's the 2018 Toyota Camry XSE that leads the field.
When I hear about a vibration, I always think about Dick Beatty, one of the former competition directors. He said anytime your car starts vibrating, you might want to pit because it's probably not going to get any better.
Yeah, I'm curious to hear Goodyear's side of that. They'll go and analyze that tire and just be able to determine whether something was run over prior to that. Was it a failure in the tire, or what could have contributed to that? Either way, big impact for Kevin Harvick, and he's out of the race.
Yeah, and right here on the somewhat front straightaway, I guess you say.
Yeah, it is an odd place for it to happen.
Yeah.
But this is a long, wide, bending front straightaway as well.
Drivers approach the Geico restart zone as we get ready to go. The first driver with 4 fresh tires is Ryan Blaney, back in 17th. Green flag.
Already see him 3 wide back there, further back with Kyle Busch. And look, he's going to do it again. Another 3 wide, going to go around the outside of Paul Menard.
He's pretty good at getting up in that gray area on these restarts. When you put tires on your car, you feel like Superman for a little while, and he showed it there.
Restarted 11th. He's 8th. Rowdy getting with it here in his hometown.
When you put those 4 Mr. Feelgoods on there, you can go somewhere for a little while. I don't care how bad your car is.
Push now to the inside on Ryan Newman. That's for 7.
I love that we're seeing tires become this much of a story here today. Not failed tires, but the grip level in newer tires. In the past here, we've not seen tires play this big of a role here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway like we're seeing today. Add the stages in there and those cautions, varying strategies. This is going to be a fun race to watch.
Watching these two cars here, Martin Truex into 78, Kyle Larson at 42. I just wonder, Jeff, is Kyle Larson going to school on some of these veteran drivers where he says, here's what he's doing and I'm going to try to emulate that, or is he just doing his own thing?
Well, I mean, it's a very talented young driver with a lot of experience, even at his young age, dirt tracks and all the different types of race cars he's driven. What I love about him is, you know, he knows how to get outside the box. He knows how to search around. So we see side-by-side action here for 11th place. Denny Hamlin and Austin Dillon. And look at Kurt Busch trying to make it 3 wide.
Add Jimmy Johnson to that mix. 4-car battle for 11.
I think Johnson's car has gotten a little bit better. Watched him at the end of that last run, and he had moved up some, and the car looked like it had improved quite a bit.
Yeah, he's on 4 tires. Look at this. Going to be aggressive going up to the inside of the 41. Thought about making it 3 wide.
He's got to be a happy guy, though. He got 4 wins here, and they're going to have 2 races here next year. That's got to make him feel pretty good.
41 and Kurt Busch took 2 tires on that last stop.
And the 3 is on worn tires. Austin Dillon did not stop. Jamie?
Well, the 41 had pitted at lap 70 and took 4 tires, so they were going to stay out. Well, last minute, Kurt decided to come down, surprised his team. They took right sides only, but now because of the tire allotment and them being such a premium here today, the team is gluing those right sides back up. They may be short on tires, a little concerned.
Yeah, and what Jamie's talking about is NASCAR allowed these guys to obviously have their 1 set of tires that they started to race on, that they qualified, but they have 8 sets of Goodyears in the pits when the race started, and a lot of these teams have already used up 3 sets.
13th place.
Kurt Busch is making Jimmy Johnson use those 4 fresh tires up just a little bit more.
So, Larry, if I understand right, this is 1 less set of tires than they had available to them last year.
It is. Last year they had 9, and then, of course, the other big change is you have to start the race on your qualifiers.
Yeah, when Larry talks about gluing up the tires, they've got the lug nuts glued to the wheels.
Yeah, it's just weather strip adhesive like you buy at the hardware store, essentially.
Yeah. And I tell you, I'd be a little bit worried if I was in field. Martin Truex here got the lead, and he's actually stretching it out quite a bit, and we know what this 78 car is capable of. I've never seen a car as good as his was last year at a track very similar to this at Charlotte, and he's looking really strong right now.
95 complete. Truex leading by 1 second. Let's join Vince down at the eBay pit box.
Well, Mike, after 13 pit lane speeding penalties last week at Atlanta, it's certainly been a hot topic of conversation on pit road and in the garage this weekend for the drivers and the crew chiefs and the engineers that sit atop these pit boxes. They've certainly taken heed to it. Only 1 pit lane speeding penalty today. I talked to a crew chief about the fact that you can gain or lose on pit road, and he said what you gain by trying to get every little bit out of it isn't worth what you lose if you get caught speeding. So he'll err on the side of conservative. We'll see if the others do today as well.
Thanks, Vince. 45 miles an hour down pit road plus a 5-mile-per-hour tolerance. 2nd place, Brad Keselowski catching Kyle Larson.
Yeah, if I'm Martin Truex Jr., that's what I'm watching, is this battle behind me, because he had to battle with Brad Keselowski earlier, and he knows that's the car to beat today so far.
Yep. Now, a minute ago, we saw one of the Busch brothers making a bunch of moves there. There's Kurt Busch trying to charge to the front, but let's get an update from Jamie.
Well, there may be an issue brewing for the 41. He's saying he is having some voltage issues, maybe a battery going bad. He says he has 12 volts right now. So for Jeff and DW, as a driver, what can you help? What can you do in this situation? situation.
Well, last week, you know, we saw the children's cars have trouble with their batteries. They 31 and the 3, and they were having alternator issues. Once the alternator goes, you can put 10 batteries in if you want to. So if it's just a battery that's going, he may have 2 batteries in that car, and he might be able to switch over. If it's the alternator, he's in big trouble.
But you can turn off some of the driver comfort fans and fans that go to some of the brakes and different things as well. That will help make that battery last a little bit longer.
And Jeff, these alternators now have so much pressure, strain on them. With all the electronics and everything that they're running in the cars these days, the coolers and everything else, it takes a pretty strong alternator to get it done.
Just turn your tire blow off on the front. I have to run the gear blower.
Yeah, that's Tony Gibson, crew chief Tony Gibson. He knows that if they don't have the gear blower on, that they'll melt that rear end gear, but he can go without the tire blowers. That's just more of a performance thing to help save the tires, save the brakes. Of course, after what we just saw with Kevin Harvick, I don't know if I'd want to turn that off as we see the battle for 10th right here with Blaney and Denny Hamlin.
Remember, Blaney has fresh tires from that pit stop, 4 of them, and he's making them work.
Yeah, I'm sure that the 4 car and Rodney Children, those guys have gone back and said, look, you might want to be cautious with that right front tire, because I'm sure they probably all the teammates probably have pretty similar setups.
Well, at one casino in Las Vegas where gambling is legal, Ryan Blaney was a 22-to-1 shot. At another casino, he was part of the field. That would have paid 100-to-1. I'll be right back. Please. Welcome back to Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series racing from Las Vegas, presented by Mobile One Annual Protection. Those are spare batteries. They're quite a bit smaller and more powerful than those in your passenger car. Jay Guarneri carrying those for Kurt Busch. Side by side with Paul Menard for 17th. Kyle Busch has been moving up. He passed Eric Jones for 6th place while we were away. Your top 5, Truex, Keselowski, Elliott, Larson, Earnhardt. Here's Kyle, 8 seconds back of the lead.
Yeah, I've been watching him work that high lane down in 3 and 4. Really making up a lot of speed. I also see Kyle Larson, big surprise up there as well. So these guys are starting to find a way to make this higher lane work and gain momentum on the long runs.
First caution was for Corey LaJoie in turn 2, and then point leader Kevin Harvick at lap 70. Cuts down a tire and pounds the wall. Harvick is okay. The car, however, is out of the race. Larry Mack.
You know, Mike, Goodyear walks a tightrope on giving these tires as much grip as possible, but yet giving them good durability. So what they've done at a lot of the bigger racetracks is on the right side tire, it's what we call a multi-zone tread tire. The outer 10 inches is all about grip or traction. It's a softer compound, but knowing these guys run a lot of front camber, they get down on air pressure, the inner 2 inches is called the durability zone. It's a lot tougher compound than that outside, so this actually accomplishes the best of both worlds, grip and durability on the right side tires.
So Larry, as a crew chief, when one of your teammates suffers a tire failure, as Harvick did, how does that reverberate among the team cars up and down pit road?
Yeah, there's no question that Kurt Busch's team, Danica Patrick's team, Clint Boyer's team, they have went to the 14 and make sure and compare setup notes. Things like where are we at with the setup itself? Where are we at with front camber, with air pressure? And then, Jeff, also, you and I were talking during a commercial break, teams will go to Goodyear and say, tell us what you think happened to that tire on Kevin Harvick's car.
Yeah, any information that they can gather there on pit road, if they know somebody at that team, maybe they can gather some information, or they can maybe get Goodyear to give them a little information, and then Goodyear will gather that as fast as they possibly can for those teams.
And you know what? I liked it. I'm glad my crew chief knows that. I'm glad my team knows that. But, you know, the last thing I want them to tell me is you might want to take it easy on that right front tire, because that puts, then I start, every time something happens, I think, oh, I'm losing the right front tire.
The pass you just saw was for 19th, Clint Boyer passing Eric Almirola, and here at 5th place, Kyle Busch is on the move.
Well, let's remember, he came in and took tires on that last stop at lap 83. Dale Jr. lap 70, doing a great job. I think Dale Jr. on the outside lane, making it really work well. He loves this track.
Yeah, he started up there a lot. He's been up there for most of the race. He got to the top probably before anybody. Been working that lane and working it well.
Jamie Johnson sliding right up in front of Ryan Newman before they come off of turn 4.
And here's some radio from now 6th place, Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s team.
I think ride quality is getting worse because the air in the back for putting air in both rears. Can't understand what's working and what ain't because of the roughness or the bouncing.
He complained about that roughness and bouncing in practice, that the car was really, really harsh. And obviously it's still bothering him.
Well, and air pressure and tires can adjust the spring rate in that tire. If you put more air pressure in the rear tires, it can actually make the stiffness be more violent, and that's what I hear him talking about. Vince, what are you hearing?
Yeah, and remember yesterday during practice, he kept using that term violent, and that's all about the ride quality from him. And he also said he's losing the nose from the center off, so he doesn't feel like he has much front grip. I will add, though, that they had a vibration earlier in the race, and just when they got that yellow, Junior had been complaining about the vibration. They took off the right front tire, and there was a chunk missing on the inside shoulder, so that yellow came right on time for Junior in the 88 crew earlier today.
Yikes.
Good time to be lucky. Mark Truex Jr. leading Brad Keselowski now by 3 seconds with Chase Elliott, Kyle Larson, and Kyle Busch. Halfway through stage 2 here in Las Vegas, Martin Truex Jr. with a 3-second lead. He has now led 6 times as many laps today as in his previous 11 races at Las Vegas. He was the winner in stage number 1. Here's Martin's thoughts on stage racing and the importance of winning those stages.
I think all the new rules with the points and everything this year, I think benefits our race team from running well, running up front all year long, taking those points not only into the playoffs, but throughout the playoffs is something we're really looking forward to. I think it'll really benefit us.
You know, he said in practice that we know the car's fast. We know it's got speed in it. If we can just get it out of the car, well, I think they figured out how to get it out today.
Last year, he led 883 laps on 1.5-mile tracks. More than Joe Gibbs Racing, Hendrick Motorsports, Stewart Haas, Penske, or Ganassi. Paul Menard's in, Larry. Is this early?
Yes, this is a little bit early. I was just talking during commercial break, somewhere around lap 130 to 135 if we stay green. That's when everyone should start hitting pit road for green flag stops.
Wonder if he felt something, Larry, maybe a vibration or something, you know, the speed falling off or something where he felt like he needed to be a little cautious and come early. Here's some more coming down pit road. I see Ryan Blaney on pit road.
Ryan Blaney also in at the early end of the pit road window. Here's Matt.
And Mike, his car was seriously going away in the handling department. He said it was junk up top and just trying to hold his own on the bottom, extremely free on entry. Short pitting somewhat. Rest of the field here. 4 tires on, fuel in, and he's away.
I remember Blaney took 4 at the end of stage 1.
I think it's not a bad move. Short pitting right now. Get those tires on. A big difference. What do you got, Jamie?
And the 43, Eric Almirola, 2 weeks in a row, qualified 30th. Can't get a handle on this package. You see the chassis adjustment there to try to help the car, help the balance for the later stage of this race, Matt.
The Joe Gibbs team brings in the Toyota of Matt Kenseth. His car, much of the race, had been free. This last one, probably one of the best. It started to inch a little bit more toward the tight side for Kenseth.
Clint Boyer's in, and here's your leader, Martin Truex, coming to pit lane. Vince.
Yeah, they started off very loose early in the race, but they have continued to work on it. Crew Chief Cole Perrin making adjustments, and the adjustments are working. It's going in the right direction for the race leader, or he was the race leader coming into pit road here, Martin Truex Jr. Going to get it snugged up just a little bit. Now, the 88 of Dale Earnhardt Jr., hard to tell what's working and what's not. We heard that from the radio in. Loose in is the worst. That's what they're addressing on that stop.
Hamlin is away. Logano is in. Keselowski coming. Jamie.
And the 24 Chase Elliott tested here in January. They found a really good baseline, and it's showing today. A top 5 car, 4 tires close there on pit pit road. 4 tires, no changes for the 24. Brad Keselowski in the 2. There are close calls all over pit road today. Brad Keselowski saying his weakness is later in the corner, both ends of the racetrack. Air pressure's been their change of choice today. 4 tires. Kyle Busch just trying to find the balance he wants. Even though he's running top 5, guys, it just hasn't been the car he's hoped for at his home track.
And Kyle Busch almost had to do a go-around. A car was coming out of the pit, almost blocking him from getting into his.
Yeah, there's, when you come off pit road, those drivers that you see, Casey Kane coming off underneath 18, he started to turn left. He realizes he's going to have to let the 5 car go. Now we're hearing a speeding penalty on the 18 car.
Too fast in section 6 of 14 segments down pit road.
That's from 5th place, so that's a big hit.
Well, we've been documenting pit road penalties from last week. We saw a lot of them here. We haven't seen them yet, but green flag stops are a lot different. A lot more challenges getting to pit road. Whoa, see Ty Dillon get loose underneath the 11 of Denny Hamlin.
And Ty Dillon picks up the lead here as we cycle through pit stops. Michael McDowell second, Chris Buescher, then Truex and Elliott.
I like the way everybody did though, Mike. They wanted to get those tires on here before somebody beat them in the pits and got theirs first.
Have a look at Truex's entry onto pit road.
You can see what a big transition from the apron as you come to pit road versus the banking of the racetrack, and you got the edge of either the side skirt or the splitter that caused those sparks to fly off the right side.
What I really noticed is how that car bounced. I mean, it doesn't have a ton of rebound in the shocks. It kind of bounced as it went across that transition.
And with Ty Dillon's pit stop, Michael McDowell is your new leader.
Todd Parrott, crew chief.
And here is Kyle Busch back in for his penalty. 3 drivers have been gigged for speeding today. Cole Witt on his first stop. Kyle Busch and rookie Gray Gaulding on this stop.
Not surprising you get in trouble getting in this pit, because as we saw with the 78, very difficult to get off the track down on pit road.
For the lead, here comes Truex on Michael McDowell, who will be the last of the cars on the lead lap to pit. .30 laps to go in stage 2. Truex, the New Jersey native, back in command.
And let's check in the Hollywood Hotel for a KFC Georgia Gold race break with Michael Waltrip. I'm Chris Myers live here in Las Vegas. We're glad you're watching NASCAR on Fox. Such an issue last week with 13 pit road speeding penalties, 8 in this race last year. They averaged 7 a race in Las Vegas, and Kyle Busch moments ago guilty only 3 so far. Martin Truex Jr., your leader, he led the most laps in all of NASCAR last year. And of course, Denver, the home office for this race team, a little more geographically desirable to Las Vegas, and he has had not only a fast car, but they've had this team so far kind of a flawless afternoon.
Yeah, no issues at all. He likes the middle of the racetrack. He's not running up high, taking a chance on scrubbing the wall. He's good on the bottom when he catches the lap car, so everything is going spot on for the 78 car. But I'm telling you, Chris, there's some hot guys on his tail, namely Chase Elliott. I love the lap times I'm seeing out of Chase right now. His car seems to be balanced really well, and he's closing in.
Yeah, he's the top finisher for Hendrick Motorsports, being 4th in points. Of course, Jimmy Johnson has won the most here at this track. And then there's pole sitter Brad Keselowski, who's battled laryngitis, has won 2 of the last 3 in Las Vegas, and won in Atlanta last week when he overcame a pit road speeding penalty.
Yeah, and I like the way this race is developing. The stage racing is putting in strategy. We saw guys get 2 tires, 4 tires. We know how important the tires are, so pit road still is going to have a big play in this race.
And Clint Boyer in his 400th career Cup race, and of course the Monster Energy Series, and hoping for success in the Ford ride with Stewart Haas this year.
Yeah, he had a great car at Atlanta. He got up into the top 5, got involved in a bit of a crash, rallied for a top 15 place finish. So getting used to his new ride and really turning some fast laps.
And closing in the 11 car, that's Denny Hamlin, who finished outside of the top 15 in the first 2 races of this season, including 38th in Atlanta last week. What's he showing you so far?
Well, just no speed. it's been interesting to see the 20 car of Joe Gibbs Racing and Denny. Kyle Busch has been fast, but Suarez or neither one of these two have had any pace to climb up toward the top 5. I'm a bit surprised by this, especially if you think about how they started the 2016 season.
Yeah, Hamlin with Toyota teammate Kenseth there, and then there's Kurt Busch. What's with the battery issue from the Daytona 500 winner?
Well, we saw the team bringing batteries to the pit, but they haven't had to stop and change it yet. Both are low, but he seems to be surviving that. He must have some monster energy under that hood, too.
Kurt Busch 0 for 15 in Las Vegas. He snapped that streak when he went to Daytona. That's your Georgia Gold race break. You won't miss anything side by side with the commercial. We're live in Vegas. You're watching NASCAR on Fox.
The last of those is Casey Kane. Stenhouse right now, the first car 1 lap down, but Busch closing in on him for that free pass position. Probably the biggest change over pit stops was between Elliott and Keselowski, second and third.
Let's take a look at our green flag pit cycle. This is the 2 laps, including the pit stop. Now, one thing that I'm seeing right here, Jimmy Johnson was the best, but his pit crew was the best. Their pit stop was 11.81. Martin Truex Jr., the leader right now, his pit stop was a 12.17.
Yeah, we actually had a change during that green flag sequence with second and third, where Keselowski was in second behind Mark Truex Jr. Now that's Chase Elliott's gone to second, and I saw them come to pit road. Chase Elliott was very aggressive getting to pit road, made up some of that ground, and then the rest was done on pit road.
I just wonder when they do an 11-second stop in that range, if they're packing that thing full of fuel. You know, that's a quick stop.
Darrell, they didn't have to pack it full of fuel because of the length to the end of stage 2.
They're going to make it to the end, so they won't have to.
Yeah, they're planning on stopping again at
Kyle Busch is a man on a mission. He caught that group, and he wasn't blowing up to try to get past Stenhouse because he knows what's at stake. If the caution comes out, he'd get the free pass once he makes this pass of the 17.
Where do you think he's going to go right here?
I would have thought he'd have gone high, but no.
No, he'll just cut down. Whoa, whoa.
Derek Cope on the outside, lapped car.
Mighty close.
Stenhouse wasn't giving it up easy, though, was he?
He knows what's at stake.
Teammates battle for 12th. Denny Hamlin in the 11 and Matt Kenseth.
And sometimes you say, why race that hard at that moment? You never know when the caution may come out, and that position may have saved you and kept you on the lead lap.
Remember when Kyle Busch won here in 2009, he started the race in the rear after changing engines after practice.
I bet that guy in that 20 car, when the day is over with, we're going to be saying what we always said about Harvick back in the day. Where'd he come from?
He sneaks up on you, doesn't he? Quietly.
Had a birthday yesterday. Matt Kenseth turned 45, the oldest full-timer on the circuit. Derek Cope in this race.
Turn 2, guys. Turn 2.
And that is Derek Cope, the 1990 Daytona 500 winner, bringing out the caution here at lap 152.
We can see anything on the right side here. The right front tire look like it's up.
Well, we've got a late look at it in progress.
Maybe made. No, I don't think he quite made any contact, but certainly big slide.
Yeah, just the flaps behind the hood there are open enough to let the air out, and there's a can on the racetrack. I guess that's what he ran over. Not that that's what caused the spin. He ran over after the fact.
Well, Larry, we're in another one of the, and Kyle Busch did get the free pass, so that pass of Ricky Stenhouse, very timely. He'll get back on the lead lap, but Larry, another conundrum, just 8 laps to go in this stage, and pit road will open.
Yeah, we've run a little over 20 laps. I like what McMurray in the 1 car did earlier. I like the right side tires, but do you want to win the stage? Or are you looking for the big prize at the end of this thing, which is winning this race?
I know, ask Joey Logano.
I don't want to do what the 22 did.
I'm taking at least 2. I'm taking at least 2.
Lesson learned there, brother.
But are you coming? Let's see. Here's Vince.
Martin Truex coming down pit road, and he said the car's still pretty good, but they were definitely looser on this particular run, so they'll look to snug him up just a little bit on the 78. As far as the 42 is concerned, Kyle Larson, he said he thinks the track is actually getting slicker, definitely freer. He's working the track bar earlier than he had in the previous runs. Jamie?
24, Chase Elliott said when he moved up top, it really suited him well, but it got snug as it went. The only driver I've heard all day saying his car is snug, the two of Brad Keselowski, they've made the car better in the corners like he wanted. Wipe the grill, 4 tires, and he's finished.
Truex is the first one away, but he will line up behind Jimmy Johnson and Kurt Busch, who did not pit. Good work for the 78 team. Start your race week off every night with opinion and analysis from the experts, the best in NASCAR breakdowns, biggest names, and hottest drivers. NASCAR Race Hub this week's special time, 7 p.m. Eastern on FS1. Jimmy Johnson and Kurt Busch did not pit. Matt.
Playing stage strategy here in the 48 camp. The first thing Chad Knaus did when the caution came out, he asked spotter Earl Barber to describe how long he anticipated this caution to be. They're expecting about 5 laps. Remember, Jimmy's had a rough start to the year. They love those playoff points if they can get them.
4 laps to go when they get the green this time by. 4 laps to go in stage 2.
I got bad news for Chad Knaus. Based on what we saw the last time this happened, it's only going to take one corner, maybe half a lap.
Well, everybody from their back has fresh tires.
I mean, the 2 fastest cars all there right behind them, and how long is that going to take? Maybe before they get to turn 1.
Hold on tight.
Yes, sir.
Green flag. That was quite orderly.
Yeah, well, Brad Keselowski, unlike what happened the last time, but look, same thing's going to happen here. Truex going to the inside. Jimmy Johnson gets loose on the outside. Here comes the 2.
Here comes the
Keselowski.
Here comes the pack on by Jimmy.
42 Larson. Oh, real tight between the 24 on the inside of him. The 3 wide.
They got good grip right now. They got 4 tires on those babies. They can stick.
3 by 3. 4 cars under a blanket for third. 3 to go in stage 2.
Tires are so important today.
Oh, my gosh.
Big run on the 1 by Jamie McMurray coming down behind Kurt Busch, but nowhere to go.
That'll be for 7th place.
Just loving the stages in this new format. This is what we were hoping for. Switches up the pit strategy and cycles on tires.
2 to go.
I sort of agree with you, but
still a lot of 3 wide.
I'm not sure everybody out there agrees with this, but I like it.
10th is Ryan Newman in the 31. He'd be the last driver to get points for stage 2 as they're running right now.
Matt Kenseth
might have a tire
falling way back. It looks like he's just trying to make it to the caution. He's got some kind of an issue just in front of the leader, Mark Truex Jr.'s. We've got a battle here between the 24 of Chase Elliott and the 22 of Joey Logano.
4th place there.
Chase not going to give it up, trying to stay to the outside of that quarter panel.
Stage 2 ends this time by.
Get so much momentum when you're on that high side. Get off turn 2, get such a shot down that back straightaway.
Remember, Kyle Busch back on the lead lap. He's in a hornet's nest entering turn 3. 5 cars altogether. And here comes Truex to win stage 2 from Keselowski, Larson, and there might have been contact between Elliott and Logano as they came to the line. Blaney got 6th, Earnhardt 7th, and McMurray, Newman, and Johnson. Watch this.
Oh boy, just a tiny bit of contact.
Martin Truex trying to hit for the cycle, wins stage 1 and 2 in Las Vegas.
It's Truck Month. Get to your local Chevy dealer and choose the Silverado that's right for you. Chevrolet. Find new roads.
Hitting for the cycle, a perfect points day would be to win stage 1 and 2 and win the race. That would be 60 championship points. Hasn't happened yet, but we're only in race 3 of the 2017 season under this new stage format. 80 laps, and 107 laps are the 3 stage lengths today.
We all know who would have done it last year if they had stages, and that's that guy right there, Martin Truex Jr.
But he's the only guy that can do it today.
Stays out.
And let's go to pit road. Matt.
Johnson stayed out. The other previous caution, pitting this time, said the car on stickers initially was tight, so he worked on the track bar, and then it started to come in, but he wanted a chassis adjustment because he was just extremely free off turn 4. Jamie?
And the 41 Bolt's holding steady on that battery, so they haven't had to make the change. The car's been decent. He's thirsty, though. The driver wants a water inside and a tear off so he can see clearly. Air pressure adjustment is it for the 41.
Close there on Clint Boyer getting out. Boy, he's had an interesting day on pit road. Martin Truex, Mike Joy in the Fox booth. You got us?
Yeah, I got you, Mike.
Hey, are you a baseball fan? Because you're in position to be the first guy to hit for the cycle under this new format. Win 2 stages and the race, score maximum points.
Sure, sounds good. We'll just have to see. Long way to go. So just keep working on this thing, and guys have done a really, really good job. So proud of everybody on this Bass Pro Toyota. And just got to keep it all together here so we can finish the deal.
Well, your tremendous success on these 1.5-mile ovals, is this a team thing, or is this just a shape and size of track that you really like?
I think it's just all of the above. We got a really good combination. Our guys do a really good job. They're real smart. We complement each other well, and I really do like these big racetracks.
All right, good luck fishing for that win today.
You got it, bud.
Martin Truex out front after 2 stages here in Las Vegas.
All right, boys, we got to do better than this now. Come on, let's get this figured out. Let's do it. Come on. Right now, everybody's getting loose.
People get so occupied blocking me.
Can't understand what's working and what ain't because of the roughness or the bouncing.
165 laps complete. We're under caution. Now, on that last restart, Jimmy Johnson had stayed out on worn tires. And with those big headrests and the big C-pillar, there's a big blind spot to both sides. So let's listen at how Jimmy's spotter helped him worry less on the restart with the Liberty Mutual Insurance spotter coverage.
Clear, clear. 78's on your bumper. Clear, inside, inside, inside only. One more. Inside. Clear, 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 clear. But coming, inside, inside. Inside next to you. Too wide inside. 2 inside. Middle lane's open. Inside 1, 22. Inside 1.
That's Earl Barbin.
Bottom inside. Clear, clear, clear.
Earl Barbin helping his driver worry less. Earlier, Matt Kenseth had a flat tire. It was the left rear that they changed. Got it back out in front of the leader and staying on the lead lap. So now we get set for this restart with 24 cars on the lead lap as we're into stage 3 with 6 of 107 laps complete in the final stage. And out of turn 4, the pace car will duck to pit road. Look at that great crowd on hand here in Las Vegas as they approach the Geico restart zone.
I don't know who lets Earl worry less. That sounded pretty stressful.
There you go.
Neither lane seems to have an advantage today. Obviously, the guy leading the race has a big advantage because he goes first, but both lanes pretty equal today.
Well, we saw Martin Truex choose the inside when he was up against Keselowski the last time. Now he's chose the outside. He got a great launch. It's not even going to matter. Logano going 3 wide down the inside of Larson. Look at Kyle Busch coming on the outside.
Every time, right around
and
the
still
rim.
Coming to the front.
Remember, he's a cat that had that penalty, had to drive through, got back on the lead lap there earlier, and now he's up front again.
Rebounded from that speeding penalty, and here he is in 5th place.
He is something on those restarts, man. He gets up next to that wall and he goes.
Now, during that caution, 4 cars took the wave around to get back on the lead lap. Stenhouse, Menard, Suarez, and Ty Dillon.
Oh boy, tied up at turn 2 right there. Woo!
Yeah, Ty Dillon on the outside had to check up a little bit. Matt Kenseth stuck in the middle.
Almirola almost got into Kenseth there.
I think he made a little bit of contact.
Give him a little shot. Yeah, it looked like it. It's tight racing right in there amongst that group of cars. They're all just on top of each other.
They're not giving each other a lot of room either.
And you know, Matt Kenseth thought he had a tire going down. I just think that they've got a very loose race car. Or something else going on.
10th place left of your screen, Hamlin and Earnhardt. And Kane.
Well, you know, when we say they're just inches apart, we ain't lying right now, because they're just inches apart back in the pack there. Wow.
Kurt Busch trying to rebound from 14th. And let's enjoy the sights and sounds with a Fox NASCAR Crank It Up.
Bumper. Still bumper 1. Inside. 1 back. Coming inside, 48. Tire damage right side.
That's Kurt Busch saying he got into the wall and did some right side damage.
He got into it pretty good too, Mike. It's up high here under Jamie, or on the outside of McMurray. McMurray comes right up in front of Kurt and just basically no air on the nose. The car pushed into the wall.
Yeah, DW, a little less air on the nose, and he was trying to stay in the gas to try to keep that momentum off of turn 4. Ran out of room.
Been a tough day for Stewart Haas. They've already lost Kevin Harvick's car, which crashed hard into the outside wall after he cut a tire back at lap 70.
Yeah, actually, Stewart Haas' best car right now is Boyer. He's 15th.
Now, you look out that right quarter window, it doesn't look like a very big blind spot. But once you put on the full face helmet, Jeff, and you get that big wraparound headset around you, you don't really have a whole lot of peripheral vision, do you?
No, it's built for protection, right? That's what it's really for, is to protect your head, protect your body. And yeah, you definitely lose a little bit of visual out the right side. You can't turn your head because the Hans device and the headrest the way you used to. You want that helmet to be locked in there. So you need those mirrors and you need your spotter to guide you through a lot of those things. And you use your feel. You can feel the car moving around, moving past the car, the air moving around the car. As you pass somebody, you get released.
I like also how much, you know, they're anticipating the sun today being in their eyes off turn 4. That was really taped down low on that windshield.
When we started the day looking from start finish, you could not see the cars going into turn 1 from the glare, but now the sun's moved across to the west and casting a lot less glare back toward us, but it'll be in the driver's eyes as the sun gets lower as the afternoon goes on. "90 laps to go in Las Vegas." Martin Truex Jr. pretty firmly in command right now. 85 laps to go in Las Vegas. Brad Keselowski just starting to eat into Martin Truex's lead. It's now a second and a half. Landon Castle brushed the wall here a moment ago. No caution. He works around the outside of Michael McDowell. Took a big slide and just out of track there. But is able to continue. So we stay green. Let's look at today's Credit One Bank ones to watch.
Well, it's hard not to watch this guy. Martin Truex Jr. has been out front for about 100 laps. He only led 8 laps here in his entire career in the past. This guy is on a roll. He's going for the cycle. I got Martin Truex Jr. to win this race today.
Well, Jeff, everyone's going to have to make at least one more trip to pit road. Yeah, you're going to have to work hard to beat Martin Truex Jr., but DW, I love first-time winners. Keep an eye on that 24 car, Chase Elliott.
Yeah, you know, my guy likes to overcome adversity. Kyle Busch started in the rear here in 09 and won. He got a lap down earlier from a penalty, and he's back in the hunt. If there's a late restart, watch Kyle Busch in that 18.
I'm going to watch Joey Logano. Believe it or not, guys, he started his first Xfinity race ever here yesterday, and he drove straight to victory lane. He ran second here a year ago to his teammate. I think he gets the win today.
Brad Keselowski started on pole. He's won 2 of the last 3 here, and all the Vegas odds are in his favor. That's your Credit One Bank ones to watch. Do you pick first every week?
Sorry, guys. I don't know how that's worked out.
It's okay. 11th place.
If it makes you feel any better, I don't know if I've picked many winners in the past. I'm hoping I make Mark Truex Jr. feel a little bit better today.
There you go. Casey Kane, Denny Hamlin, Jamie McMurray looking in. 11th, 12th, 13th. And back behind them a ways, Kurt Busch now 13 seconds off the lead. Back in 17th place. Remember, he popped the wall a little bit ago here.
I've never done reports one day in my life. Yeah, we did. Daytona 500. Let's keep focused. 30-20 on the leaders. That's great for them. Real proud of them. We're doing the best we can, man. Finish. Focus.
I like, but you know what? That Tony Gibson, that's the guy that driver right there needs. Get on him, straighten him out, focus, get back in the game, man.
Yeah, really easy when you're inside the car. You're focused on driving. You know what the car is doing. You get frustrated when things aren't going the way you want, and you get wound up and fired up. But you need somebody to also be there to keep you calm, as well as fire you up when you're maybe too calm.
But keep this in mind. When that little turkey thermometer pops out underneath your helmet, that radio button is your release to get rid of all that negative energy. Darrell, sometimes you just got to let it out.
Oh, I totally agree. I mean, I've said things that I've regretted during the race, you know. But Kurt, Tony Gibson is the right guy for him. Yes. When he pops off like that, he gets right back in his face and says, hey, we're doing the best we can. Drive the car.
12th place battle there. Next Sunday, NASCAR Goes West continues. All 3 races, 3 p.m. Eastern Time, Las Vegas, Phoenix, and then Southern California. By the way, Phoenix race last March, closest ever finish at that track. We hope for more of the same.
Yeah, that was a heck of a finish between Kevin Harvick and Carl Edwards last year. I mean, you didn't know who was going to win that race till they crossed the line, and still it was doubtful.
Vince?
Yeah, Mike, you just promoted the Western Swing, and this 78 team of Martin Truex, they love the Western Swing, some of the shortest trips for this Denver-based team. The car's been pretty good for Martin. They fought, if one thing today, it's been loose, and Martin says that's what is holding him back a little bit right now. He's working on the track bar adjustment inside the cockpit, but still, it's a little too free for his liking. Cole Pearn and company done a great job getting this car this good, because remember yesterday after final practice when we talked to Martin, he said we had that short run speed, but we don't have a race winning car yet. They went to work on it, made some significant adjustments overnight, and they have a race-winning caliber car today for sure.
Yeah, and I think some of that information from the 78 is trickling down to the 77. Eric Jones, he's running 8th right now, and he and his crew chief Chris Gale have done a nice job of tuning that car up here late in the race.
I felt like the 78 of Mark Truex Jr. as well as Eric Jones right here as we ride along with him. Those cars have looked so good all weekend long, and they're backing that up here in the race.
Yeah, Eric was the highest qualifying rookie, started 8th. Thought he'd have a pretty good day today.
Pretty nice battle, an intense battle going on here between the 31 of Ryan Newman and Dale Earnhardt Jr. for 10th. You can see the 31 keeps going to the outside. Junior will dive to the inside. He's getting close. He's getting right there. He just can't quite complete it because the 31 just continues to carry that momentum off the corner. But don't look now. Here comes Denny Hamlin. Going to feel that gap on the outside.
He's loving this. Keep racing, boys. I'm here. Hamlin's another guy we haven't talked much about today, but he seems to have gotten his car much better as the race has gone on. Here he is trying to get himself back in the top 10.
And normally Junior's the one running that high lane and making these kinds of moves, but I think the 31 of Ryan Newman sort of taking his groove away. He's tried to figure out how to get by him on the inside instead.
Have a look at your Toyota top performers. Mark Truex, the leader. Kyle Busch drawing a bead on Joey Logano for 4th. Eric Jones in the top 10, and now Hamlin up into the top 10. Matt Kenseth rebounding from a tire issue earlier, 16th. Matt?
The biggest thing for Denny Hamlin today, Mike, is the fact that the car just isn't consistent. It swings back and forth from tight to loose depending on the run. The last run, the car was much tighter on the short run. And when you're looking at tires, a lot of conversation along pit road is they're going to be in a tire shortage issue. Shouldn't be a problem. For Denny Hamlin, he's got 2 sets left. Meanwhile, the 48 of Johnson and the 21 of Blaney, they both have 3 sets left.
Thanks, Matt.
Yeah, somebody who really hasn't made much progress since that last pit sequence is Jimmy Johnson. He's back there in 15th right now.
Now, those 4 tires didn't help him much. Kyle Busch has drawn a bead on Joey Logano. That's Greg Galding up top, the rookie. And Kyle just keeps eating away at that margin. Now, they're about 5 seconds behind the leader. Let's go back to 14th. Teammates Jimmy Johnson and Casey Kane. And 9th place, Ryan Newman's Chevy versus Denny Hamlin's Toyota.
Yeah, Junior couldn't get by the 31 of Newman, but Hamlin has found a way. He went to the bottom, drove right under him, and he's made the pass. So move Hamlin up another spot.
So it's Toyota leading, Ford 2nd, and Chevy 3rd. Chase Elliott, 3.6 seconds back of the lead. Jamie?
And he's leading the Hendrick cars today. Had a great weekend all weekend long. And I know you guys touched on it earlier, but the extra scoring loops, the timing loops on pit road. Last week in Atlanta, Chase had a speeding penalty, and his crew chief, Alan Gustafson, told me, we made a procedural change. We do not want that to become a common theme for us. So they changed some ECU and dash settings after being able to see the data yesterday that NASCAR allowed them. He's been solid on pit road today. His pit crew has gotten the job done, and the car has been working really well. The only car I've heard say he's actually snug and not lose.
You know, guys, I'm seeing possibly 2 scenarios on strategy. I mentioned it there a while ago. It's pretty much a one-stop race. Remember, the fuel window is about 52 to 58 laps. So based on when they pitted last, this should take us to somewhere around lap 225. In other words, 20 to 25 laps from now. But we went back racing with 100 to go. Remember what they did in the earlier stage is split the stage up. For that reason, we may see them come as early as lap 215 just to try to take advantage of the fresh tires twice.
Well, we've certainly seen, Larry, where tires have played a big role in the difference in speed versus old tires versus new tires. So somebody's going to gamble. We're in Vegas.
And Kurt Busch is coming.
Yeah, he's down on the apron. So to me, this is more than just a scheduled stop.
Jamie?
And the 41, his day has just been all over the map. They're coming in. They're finally going to make that battery change. They've been watching the Volts maintain for a while, but he just can't hang on anymore. anymore. They're going to change the left, make the battery change, and then we'll change rights later on. So they're talking to Kurt into 41 as he makes his way down pit road. Unlike last week, we saw the guys go to the garage in the 31 and have to change the battery. They're going to do it. There it is right there in hand. And we'll see how long this battery change takes for the 41 local driver.
Got to be tough to come to your hometown as the Daytona 500 champion, show off the trophy, go to your old high school and get honored 20 years after you graduate, and then come here and have a rough day on the racetrack. Quick disconnects atop each of those batteries, so you're not having to do nut and bolt work to attach cables. It's just a quick in and out.
And Mike, you're seeing a much different design of the battery. If you watched last week's race at Atlanta, Ryan Newman, when he had to change batteries, he had one big, large battery. This is two smaller ones, just a different concept for this team in where it's located, the quick disconnect, and how it works in this car versus another team. Larry?
Yeah, much easier to do it this way than what the RCR teams went through last week at Atlanta. Basically, the battery is located right in front of the left rear tire. They take the tire off, they take that box right there, that door off, and as Mike mentioned, a quick disconnect. So it's actually a pretty quick change. Obviously, Richard Childress Racing Chevrolets last week, they elected to have a much bigger box, and they had to drop the rear end down because the battery would hit the trailing arm trying to get it out.
As Kurt Busch sits on pit road, Martin Truex continues to lead with 63 laps to go. He is 2 seconds up on Brad Keselowski.
Live on Fox in Las Vegas, and time for an eBay Motors race break. And a quick recap of highlights as Kyle Busch has just headed to pit road. And Martin Truex Jr., your leader, but Brad Keselowski, your pole sitter. Some debate over whether he had laryngitis or not, but he wasn't feeling well early. Corey LaJoie, one of the 5 rookies in the race, crashing early. Kevin Harvick, who won the first 2 stages last week, running 6th when he had a tire problems. He's okay. Out of the race. Kyle Busch, caught for speeding on pit road, has worked back up into 5 and the 5th spot. And Martin Truex Jr. winning stage 1, winning stage 2. He has led 131 of the 210 laps. So let's check in with Matt Yoakum for a pit stop.
Chris, a small piece of tape put on the nose of the 21, a chassis adjustment and air pressure change. He was just plowing tight much of that run, especially in 3 and 4, Jamie.
And the 24, Chase Elliott, now saying he's a little bit free. Need to take some of that rear adjustment out. A 4-tire stop. Vince?
Comes the 78 of Martin Truex Jr. They had a clutch issue last week in Atlanta. That was a definite concern for this team coming into this race this week, but they have had no such issues today. It's a 4-tire change, just trying to snug up the 78, Jamie.
And Brad Keselowski in the 2-in air pressure adjustment. That's really all they've done today, and now they're going to make a wedge adjustment on the 2. The 22 came in, air pressure for him as well. The balance, best it's been all day for Logano and Brad Keselowski.
All right, Michael, anything catch your attention on this round of pit stops?
Just the strategies. They were forcing the leader's hand, making sure that car of Truex came to pit road after some of our leaders got to pit road.
And Jimmy Johnson, of course, a 4-time winner of this race. But Martin Truex Jr. a chance to drive for the cycle, just like last week. He won the first 2 stages. Harvick did last week, but had problems at the end. What will it take for Truex, well, in this case, to hang on or make up some ground?
I think it's the kids that could do some serious challenging, Chris. Chase Elliott's got a really fast car. Eric Jones has done a great job. Kyle Larson always is strong during late stages of the races. I think there's a lot of racing left to go to see who wins this race, and it could be a kid that upsets him.
Well, worth pointing out, the last 5 Las Vegas winners have been champion drivers. Tony Stewart, Matt Kenseth, Keselowski twice, and Kevin Harvick. We'll see how it plays out today with a champion driver leading right now. That's your eBay Motors race break. Let's head back upstairs to Daryl, Jeff, and Mike.
Thanks, Chris. Paul Menard, you saw pitting from 2nd place. That leaves Jimmy Johnson as the only lead lap car that has not yet made a pit stop in this cycle, Larry.
Mike, what they did, they went with a 3rd strategy. They ran it like a road course. They got to the fuel window, they could make it to the end, and that's when they hit pit road right at 58 laps to go.
Yeah, Larry, it looked like the 18 of Kyle Busch really kind of forced everybody's hand. They knew if they stayed out much longer, he might be ahead of him. He made a big gain to the leader, but right now, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th hasn't changed hands. It's just tightened up.
And the big difference is the cars on on fresh tires are lapping the track at 30 seconds. Jimmy Johnson, the race leader, is 1 second per lap slower on worn tires.
Seems like Chad's had a little different strategy all day long, so this seems to be another one of those situations where he's going with something a little different.
Well, we knew these stages was going to change the world of strategy, and it has already.
Well, we talk about this a lot, risk versus reward. You got to take some chances. You got to switch it up. You got to do it a little bit different every once in a while and hope you catch a break. And that's really what Chad Knaus and this 48 team are hoping for right now, is to catch a break, catch a caution in just a few laps here while he's still out there and has a lot of cars a lap down, but others may still want to come to pit road and get tires.
But Jimmy is 31.3 seconds a lap. Martin Truex is 30 seconds flat. How long can you stay out there when you're giving up almost a second and a half a lap?
Well, that's the risk, right? You're out there, you're losing lap time. If it stays green, you're going to lose a lot more than that. You're going to lose some more positions. But if that caution comes out the right time, hey, it can fall in your favor and turn this whole race around for them.
Larry, what's the trends say? I mean, you got to be looking at trends. I know that Chad likes to look at those things. What do the trends say about the latter part of the race?
When I look at the last 10 Las Vegas races, the average of the last caution is roughly 31 laps to go. 4 times in the last 15 laps, and only 1 time did we have overtime.
So, if you're a gambler, and the only way you can win this race, you got to go with the trends.
Well, Jimmy Johnson was 14th when the pit stop cycle started. He is currently the leader by 22 seconds over Martin Truex. And now Truex's and everybody else's tires starting to wear, and he's a little less than a second slower per lap. So that gap coming down just a bit.
It just always, I love it, Mike and Jeff, I love it when you don't do what everybody else does. I mean, if you don't have a winning car, you know Truex is fast, you know Keselowski's fast. What do we got to do to overcome those guys?
Keselowski's still running at 30 flat in 4th place, right behind Truex and Elliott.
Well, what I love is the crew chief is thinking, is this a gamble worth taking? And in Chad Knaus's mind, he feels like it is right now.
I'm with Chad. I think it is too.
Well, he didn't win 7 championships by doing what everybody else does.
Not at all.
He can be a bit of a contrarian, that's for sure.
Well, something better happen pretty quick, because he's going to be on pit road within the next 5 laps.
Something might be happening right here for 3rd place. Brad Keselowski and Chase Elliott going at it. Coming up on lap car Paul Menard. And you can see where Chase Elliott's actually reeled in the 78 of Martin Truex Jr. So these two are pushing hard.
That gap between first or between the 78 to 24, it definitely is shrinking, and it's shrinking fast.
Kevin Harvick out of the race early with a crash. Kurt Busch 4 laps down after bouncing off the wall and changing a battery. Not a great day for Stuart Haas. And Kevin Harvick came in here as the point leader, but in the 2 stages that have been completed, here are the points gained today. Martin Truex, perfect day so far, winning both stages. Larson, Keselowski, Elliott, Blaney. Big gainers in the points early on in this, the 3rd race of the season.
Mike, I've already been fascinated by how these points have played out. And if you look at our overall point standings, it has really changed the game in so many ways. I can't wait to see how the season progresses and how this impacts what's going to happen as we get later into the season and the playoffs.
I mentioned Kevin Harvick came in here as the point leader. Had he not had those stage wins, he would have been 12th entering Las Vegas, not first.
This type of finish would be a devastating blow.
Well, it's so good when you don't go home empty-handed. You go home with something.
Johnson will pit next time by. And that will cycle the lead back to Martin Truex Jr. after a very long and protracted green flag pit stop sequence.
I think they kept him out 1 more lap because there was a car up next to the wall in turn 4. I think Chad could see that. He may have kept Jimmy out 1 more lap.
I saw A.J. Allmendinger get pretty wide off of turn 4, get outside the groove.
Danica Patrick's in as well.
He's staying out another lap.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. There's a good bit of smoke out the tailpipe on Patrick's car as she refires and comes back out.
I think Chad wanted to be sure pit road was clean when they come down there. So with Danica in the 10 car in the pit, kept him out another lap. He's coming this time.
I think he's coming as well.
Well, okay, he's coming next time.
We obviously have no idea.
Vince?
You guys were talking about the points and the segment points for sure. And the 78 of Martin Truex Jr. He and his crew chief Cole Perrin and I had that very conversation this morning. And Cole said, you know, it's different. Last year you could win and you knew you were going to the playoffs. This year those segment points are so important because week after week those points add up. And that could be decisive in the championship once you get to the playoffs. And that's certainly working out just perfectly for the 78 today as they've collected stage points, stage wins in both stages.
Yeah, it's a whole different game from the days of win races. The points will take care of themselves. Not anymore. Brad Keselowski closing on Chase Elliott. This is for third. 40 laps to go. And now Jimmy Johnson slows in turn 3.
Boy, they went by him on the inside and the outside that time. I guess he's slowing down to get to pit road.
He's definitely coming this time.
4 tires. Get out your mark here. 4 tires. Sorry about the last. Turn in, turn in, turn in, turn in.
Matt?
He was giving up 0.8 of a second to Truex. Chassis adjustment going to be the call for the 48. He was much too tight on that run. Canals was holding him out, hoping for a caution. They were saying the 10 possibly dropping oil. Remember, they won last year at Atlanta with pit strategy, hoping for the same today.
And he will fall from the top dozen. Coming back out after a green flag stop. Martin Truex coming off turn number 4. And Jimmy Johnson will pop back up in about 18th or 19th place. Martin Truex cycles back to the lead in his Camry. Fans, remember to follow @Toyota Racing for more content and more conversation around NASCAR Goes West, presented by Toyota. Use that hashtag, NASCAR Goes West. Vegas, Phoenix, Southern California.
We're always talking about pit strategy and crew chiefs. I got to believe Chad Canals had to have enough information to know, okay, if we pit now, we'll still stay on the lead lap, because he came out right in front of the 78 Martin Truex Jr. So even all that, he took a chance at maybe getting a caution and stay, getting those others, some people a lap down and maybe getting a big advantage if the caution came out. Instead, he comes out right in front of the leader.
Yeah, I think a couple of things happened with Chad. He saw the 10 car, Danica Patrick, in the pit smoking. If that car has an engine problem out on the track, you get a caution. He looks like a hero. Then the 47 car of Allmendinger got up next to the wall, almost hit the wall before he saw that, kept him out another lap. So he was playing his cards right to the very end.
Second place. Jamie?
Well, Chase Elliott was one of 4 drivers who tested here in January, and they really liked what they found. They started here with a good baseline. The car's been solid all day, and I just talked to crew chief Alan Gustafson, and he said, we're good, we're happy with the speed, but not as fast as that 2 and that 78. Trying to tweak on it each stop. They made an air pressure adjustment last time to try to help.
I like that 2 car now, boys. I tell you, he's coming fast. He got by Chase Elliott, and Martin Truex not that far ahead of him, and he's really looks like he's closing that gap. Another guy that's right here behind the 2. Just look back. There's a 24 and a 2. This cat right here, the 18, he's nipping at him too. He's coming. Been a little up and down, but right now he's up.
Had to recover from a speeding penalty. And that was the drop in that graph. Currently in 4th place.
And I think it's somebody that knows how to overcome adversity and has had a lot of challenges thrown at him and seems to come out on top. Well, I think of Kyle Busch.
Well, you know those Busch brothers that love to win here. This is a home race for them. It's their home track.
Joey Logano 5 seconds back in 5th place. He's got a big gap to Kyle Larson, who is 9 seconds off the lead. And where you find Larson, you'll often find Ryan Blaney, 10 seconds back. 33 laps to go. We listened in on race leader Martin Truex and team.
The 2 car got around the 24 car. You got a little over a second lead. Easy good. We're at. He's been pretty good the whole time. I mean, it's just, you know, he kind of saw what he was before. I mean, he's pretty equal to us, I think.
Yeah, the only thing he's not equal to is the way he has to fight lap traffic. Usually when the leader comes up on lap traffic, those cars are going to fight him a little bit harder to try to maintain that lead lap. But for the 2 car, when he gets there, you know, they're pretty much going to let him go by a little easier. So seems like he really closes the gap anytime we come up on lap traffic.
2-2-2, looking out my back door.
31 laps to go. We'll go side by side with Truex leading. 27 laps to go in Las Vegas. Here's your Budweiser race summary. Martin Truex, the first of 19 lead lap cars. 6 drivers have traded the lead back and forth 13 times. 5 cautions for 28 laps. Truex won stage 1 and 2. Corey LaJoie had a right rear tire fail. That's what sent him into the wall at lap 18. And Kevin Harvick, a right front tire went down, and he crashed out at lap 70. Derek Cope spun at lap 152, and the only other cautions were for the stage-ending brakes.
Got us a little race setting up here for the end here. Look at the 2. He's right there on the 78 of Martin Truex now, and the 2 is a little bit quicker on the time and scored. 78 run a 78 that time. The 2 ran a 60.
Yeah, we heard information being fed to Martin Truex Jr. He's asking about where was the 2 car running. Well, he's been running right in his tracks until that lap. Through 1 and 2, the 2 car went up a little bit higher, really gained on Martin Truex Jr. down that back straightaway.
He's there.
Vince?
Yeah, for Martin Truex Jr., the big difference for him this run, he said he just doesn't feel like he has any left side grip. That's been the difference in Keselowski stalking.
Well, he's got some left side company.
Look at that. Keselowski snookered him. He showed him the high side, and then this time Truex goes to the high side, and here comes the 2 on the inside.
Trying to pitch Keselowski down, but there's a lapped car ahead. Keselowski may be able to use that as a pick. Doesn't need to. Completes the pass.
DW, that kind of reminded me of last week of what he did to Kyle Larson in the closing laps to win this race, that race.
Now, 23 laps to go. This is a little early for Keselowski to take the lead. In his prior 2 wins here, he passed Kyle Busch with 6 to go last year and passed Dale Earnhardt Jr. on the last lap here to win in 2014 when Jr. ran out of gas.
About 3 and 4. How wide? It's top to bottom's available. Like the 42's up there. I mean, everything's available. Guys are competitive. They're just not making hay. But whatever you need to make it.
Yeah, again, great information being fed to the driver. He's asking the right questions. Tell me about where others are making time up. What are you seeing? He knew he was coming on to Martin Truex Jr., and he knew he couldn't stay right in his tracks because of the aerodynamics. And he knew he had to search around. It's exactly what he did. And then he actually got Martin Truex Jr. to come up off the bottom and take advantage of that.
I think what Truex is going to be able to do now, though, is he's going to go to school on the 2 car here at Keselowski. Maybe he can run a different line and close back up there and try to get the lead back.
You know, I feel like it's always such an advantage when you've been stalking that leader or that driver in front of you, watching their weaknesses, where they're strong, where they're not. I feel like that's what Keselowski did. Well, guess what? That's what Mark Truex Jr. is doing now that he's in second.
The hunter and the hunted.
And now he'll be able to not only watch the line that he's running, see where he can maybe pick something up, but also feed information back to the team and maybe make an adjustment to help him get a little bit better.
What you don't want to do right here if you're Martin Truex, don't give up. I mean, you got to push hard, because Keselowski can make a mistake. Anything can happen. You just got to stay close enough to take advantage of it.
20 laps to go.
We've seen lap traffic be a factor, you know, in getting past or passing. And Keselowski's going to run up on some traffic here in another lap or two. Another opportunity for Martin Truex in that 78 that pounce.
Let's take a look at some of the different team performances today. Beginning with the Hendrick Chevrolet's Chase Elliott in 3rd, Jimmy Johnson 12th, Earnhardt 14th, Casey Kane 17th. With Elliott the best Chevrolet in the field right now. Toyotas for Joe Gibbs. Kyle Busch is the standard bearer for coach's team in 4th. Hamlin, Kenseth, and Suarez. And a tough day for Stuart Haas. Clint Boyer currently running in 13th. Kurt Busch got into the wall, had to change a battery. Danica Patrick, the engine puffing smoke. And Kevin Harvick into the wall. And for Team Penske, Brad Keselowski is the leader. Joey Logano 5th, and their satellite teammate Ryan Blaney in 7th.
Mike, Ford has not won 3 races in a row since 1992. Wow. And today would be 3 in a row.
And for Chip Ganassi, Kyle Larson in 6th, Jamie McMurray in 9th. Both solid top 10 performers.
And just, I mean, this race, I love the saying, you don't take the hats to victory circle till they drop the checkered flag. and today is another one of those days. Right. Looks pretty good for the 2-car, but.
And it's still a big, oh, there it goes. Danica up in smoke.
Stop down to the apron, you're all clear down. All clear down.
That's what Chad was waiting for. He just couldn't wait that long.
Caution, lap 252.
Garage, obviously, Brandon, to the garage.
Tooth Fairy went poof.
Yes.
Our pit box.
You just don't see a lot of blown engines anymore.
Not going to make a mess here.
Eric Almirola hung tough to try to keep from getting lapped, but once he did, stayed in position to get the free pass.
He was just ahead of Daniel Suarez, who's also a lap down, so he was able to luck out and get that free pass.
When she came out of the pits the last time, it was puffing off the right side on shifts, indicating maybe a valve, maybe a ring problem, but now terminal.
Look, I love the airflow of the car as you see the smoke trailing behind it. I don't know if I've seen an engine blow up and bring that much smoke out in a very long time, possibly if ever. That was amazing.
It's like a wind tunnel test right there.
Usually there's a fire to go along with it. There was no fire. It was just all smoke.
Yep.
Well, Larry, this changes everything.
Well, we know everybody's going to get 4 tires, but will Chad Knaus gamble and do rights only since he only has about 20 laps on those lefts? He seems to be in a gambling mood today.
You know what I would tell my driver? You better not speed on pit road.
That's right. Only 3 speeding penalties so far today. And the pits are open. Now, Ryan Newman was smoking as he came by on the backstretch fence.
Martin Truex Jr. coming to pit road. You heard the dejection in his voice when he was passed for the lead, and he said, I ain't got it. I have no left side grip. That's what they're going to try to help him with on this pit stop. Give him one more shot at winning this race. Jamie?
The 24 Chase Elliott needs to be a little bit better off the corner. Said they're a tick off from the 78 at this point. Kyle Busch happy. He's worked his way all the way up into the top 4. What a comeback. And the 2 of Brad Keselowski wants the splitter up off the track for the short run here at the end. That's important. Some tape on the grill to help that. 4 tires, and he wins the race off pit road, Mike.
2, 78, 24, and 18.
In fact, the 18 had a little struggle getting out of the pit down there.
Here's the race off pit road. About half a car length there. The smoke from Ryan Newman's car was a right side tire, we're told.
Right rear, yeah, I saw it. It looked like it's come apart maybe.
When you think about, is qualifying important? That's how important qualifying is right there. That 2-car
number 1 pit stop. Matt?
And an update on the Jimmy Johnson stop. They took 4 tires.
Oh, no.
The axle.
Axle shaft.
So
that's the axle.
So the cap has come off of the end of the axle and the hub, and that's what has allowed that axle to come out.
Don't see that often.
Not very often.
Jimmy Johnson is coming back in to tighten lug nuts.
Side lugs.
Kurt Busch is in as well here as the lap cars cycle in. Matt?
And Mike, they knew that they did not get the lugs tight on the left side, so Chad Knaus told Jimmy, you're going to have to bring it back in.
One and done.
Wow. Well, we saw a huge penalty to the 47 of A.J. Allmendinger and that team from last week by not having more than 2 lug nuts either loose or not on or attached. So that's certainly something you cannot afford to have happen these days.
No, you got to cut your losses here. You can't take a chance after the race of getting the crew chief suspended, a fine, everything else. I like what they did.
And that penalty last week was more points than they earned in the race. It was the equivalent of a second-place finish that they lost, and they also lost their crew chief for several weeks because of that. The duel in the desert continues next Sunday as NASCAR stays west.
It's ready, set, go west as the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series cruises into Phoenix for some blazing hot racing in the desert. Which driver will roll into victory lane when all's said and done? Find out Sunday. Coverage starts on FS2 at 1:30 p.m. and continues on Fox at 3 p.m. Eastern.
Thursday in Phoenix, 93 degrees, 94 Friday, 96 Saturday, and 95 on race day.
It's perfect.
Vince.
With Martin Truex, crew chief Cole Pearn, it sounds like maybe a little bit of an issue with the track bar adjuster inside. Is that a problem for you down the stretch here?
Yeah, obviously not ideal. I mean, we're not totally sure. It could be moving, but not reading or not. You know, no really way to know until it's all over. So we're kind of close to where our nominal's been anyways. So, you know, hopefully, all right. We've been good on the short run, and feel like we got some adjustments back there that should help us. So we'll see what happens here.
Thanks, Cole.
So one of the reasons why that track bar is important, number one, it's an adjustment inside the car. It's the only adjustment inside the car that can work for you. Let's say on this restart, he likes the way the car is, but as the tire pressure builds up and he gets more laps on the tires, he may want to move that track bar up or down to help the balance of the race car. Larry, can you give us even some more details?
We're giving our cutaway car a workout today, so we're going to show this driver adjustable track bar. It's on the right rear, right there. And what he can do, he has that switch, and he can throw the switch up to raise the track bar, or he can throw it down to lower. One of the things that a driver can do from the cockpit, it's a little electric motor right there that's running that track bar up and down. And normally, if you raise the track bar on the right side, like you saw there, it frees the car up. If you lower it, then it tightens the car up, and the readout is on the digital dash. Evidently, it's not showing that it's moving, so Cole's unsure if it's moving or not.
Well, Larry, there's so few laps to go. I mean, maybe you'd want to let it down or raise it up a little bit to make the car a little freer on new tires, but it not really got enough laps here to really worry about it too much, I don't think.
Biggest thing, put some air pressure in those tires for the short run.
But didn't you like Cole's interview? I mean, so much more confidence than I saw him a year ago. I mean, he was really confident about what they were doing.
So we're going to have this restart with what looks like less than 10 laps to go. Who do you really like on the short run?
Well, I tell you, Keselowski's had the best car all day long, but that 78 on a short run, I believe he's going to have something for him.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see what lane Keselowski chooses. But, yeah, he's been so good on those restarts and short runs. We saw it happen last week. This time he gets to control it from the lead. But it's all about, you said this earlier, DW, it's all about the push. Who's going to push who, and who's going to get them launched out there into turn one to get that lead.
But wait. Remember that 18 and how he is on a restart. He's going to restart on the outside, and he loves to go high in turn 1 and 2. He may be a guy that
he doesn't like to push anybody.
No,
does
he doesn't. He pushes.
However,
he pushes a win.
That's where all that speedy dry is that they're cleaning up right now.
He doesn't care about speedy dry. He'll go about him anyway.
Let's get some highlights, Chris.
And Mike, for the second straight week, the winner of the first 2 stages may be in trouble at the end of this race. Martin Truex Jr. wins stage 1 and 2. Jimmy Johnson had the gamble. He stayed out. You guys talked about it, hoping for a caution. Didn't happen. Like 16 laps before having to come to pit road. 24 laps to go. Brad Keselowski taking the lead, and Keselowski here trying to win back-to-back. And the caution moments ago with Danica Patrick having an engine problem. The last time there was a repeat winner within the first 3 races of the season, 2010, when Jimmy Johnson won the 2nd and 3rd races of the season. But Jimmy Johnson not a factor at the moment. Now as we head back upstairs to Jeff, Darrell, and Mike.
Well, turn 1 and 2 are cleaned up of that oil dry, the safety clean material they use to get the fluid up. And we're getting set for a restart. Aerial coverage provided by Goodyear. Everything they learned making tires for the grueling demands of NASCAR inspires what rolls into yours. Goodyear, official tire of NASCAR. When we restart, we will have 23 cars on the lead a lap. That includes a number of cars that have taken the wave around. Martin Truex Jr. has dominated. He and Brad Keselowski have combined for 228 laps led, but a couple of these top 5 drivers still hungry for their first win in this series.
Yeah, but you know what I like is the wave around. It cleans up the front of the field. These guys were at the tail end of the lead lap. Now they get to go all the way around and line up at the tail end of the lead lap. Out of the way of the leaders, we can sell it amongst these guys up front.
All right, let's listen in on Brad Keselowski's team.
Previous run, the 18 had some really good momentum up top on the first lap. He went from 9th to 5th or 4th really fast, and he'll be lined up on the 2nd row outside.
That's Joey Meyer, Brad's spotter.
See, everybody worries about Kyle Busch on those restarts.
Yes.
They know where he's going to go.
I don't blame him. He's aggressive, and he really gets it done on restarts.
We're going to restart without Ricky Stenhouse, still working on the left rear of his Ford that spit out an axle shaft. And they will restart with 9 laps to go. Keselowski, Truex, Ford, Toyota on the first row. Elliott, Busch, Chevy, Toyota in row 2. Blaney, Larson, Logano, Hamlin, McMurray, Kenseth, the top 10.
It's going to get good, boys. It's going to get really good.
This is going to be intense.
Think we'll have another caution?
There's a good chance.
I think there's a pretty good chance. Here we go.
Green flag.
Great start by a front row.
Yeah, but I think Kyle Busch likes to lay back a little bit and get that momentum going down into turn 1, and watch him when he gets to turn 1.
Boy, Elliott did not get a good start. Blaney was all but pushing him into turn 1.
Boy, look at that Ford. That number 2 car gets off that 2nd corner and clears the 2nd.
Watch him close the door right here.
Woo! And here comes Kyle. Around the outside, and here comes Larson on the outside. Imagine that.
Right down on the door.
Oh, he's hammering on him.
Side drafted. Use that outside. Oh, no, just
stay right. I'm saying where you were. I thought, oh no, it's not again.
This time Busch prevails off turn 2.
Had that little shorter line off of 2, but the momentum on that outside that plays off big time going into 3. Ooh,
18 got a little loose and came up the racetrack. Here comes 24.
Chase Elliott underneath both of them.
Larson to block.
Larson. Son.
Boy, that was a top to bottom elevator move. Here it is again.
Oh, watch 18. Kyle Busch, as the 42 moved down in front of the 24, took the air off of him and allowed the 18 to get a big run, as well as the 22 to get up to the 24 car. Yeah, look at Denny Hamlin sneaking into our picture here. I tell you, it's been a tough day for him, but
7th right now.
Hamlin out a decent finish here.
Hamlin 7th, and there's Matt Kenseth. He's 9th. These guys have been kind of laying back, but they're there when it counts.
It'll be 5 laps to go this time. Keselowski out front by 0.7 of a second on Truex. Big gap back to Larson, Busch, Elliott, Logano, and Hamlin. Matt Kenseth up into the top 10, rebounding from a tire issue earlier. He and McMurray side by side for 9th now.
That 2 car set on the pole, and going for 2 wins in a row here, and he's looking pretty darn good. I tell you, he's pulling away a little bit from Mark Truex every lap, about a 10th or 2 every lap.
Stenhouse back in the race, 5 laps down with 4 to go.
I like stage racing, but if I'm going to win a stage, this is the one I want to win.
Joey Logano has a run on Chase Elliott. This is for 5th.
And Joey's been working the outside down in 1 and 2. He got a big run, got to the outside of him, was able to clear him, then drop down in front. There's another battle with Jamie McMurray sliding up in front of Matt Kenseth. Boy, Kenseth's been really loose all day long, and that's going to allow Clint Boyer to get to the left rear and try to make a move on Kenseth.
Boyer trying to move into the top 10. Can't do it in turn 1.
Ooh, that was close. Good thing Boyer got out of it a little bit. You can see how much ground he lost, but it was either that or hit Kenseth. He made a good call. Well, it's tightening up. It's tightening up.
Truex
2 laps
is
to go.
really closed in here. Two's got a problem.
Does he have a flat?
Something's
He
wrong with
certainly
the
has a problem.
Something is wrong.
Truex digging hard on the inside. Gets to the door and no closer.
He's there.
Now he's coming.
He's gone now. He'll get right by him. I don't know what's going on with the 2, but he got a problem.
Yeah, I think it's a power issue. The car just doesn't look like it has the power down the straightaways.
Coming to the white flag. 1 lap to go. Sponsored by Credit One Bank. And Truex is back to the lead.
Wow. You just don't know, do you? These races have become so unpredictable. What about it? He won the first 2 stages. Can he win the last one?
Larson for 2nd. And here come Logano and Kyle Busch for 3rd.
3 wide going in there to turn 3.
This is going to get ugly. It's going to get ugly down here, boys.
And Busch is around. Martin Truex is money in Las Vegas. He wins. Kyle Busch slides down the pit road, and teammates are side by side at the finish for 4th.
17, I think he's fine.
I think the axle may have come out of the 17.
Spins in turn 4 before he gets to the line. That's a lot of drama for one last lap.
What a wild finish.
We ever got to get, boys. Proud of y'all, man. Never give up, baby.
Martin Truex.
Yeah, buddy, good job.
Cole Pearn hit for the cycle. They win stage 1, stage 2, and the race. It's Truex's 8th career win. He won last fall at Dover, and it's his first win here in his 12th start. He was the runner-up in 2015 here. He is the 12th different winner at Las Vegas in 20 races. By the way, Kyle Busch did slide across the line 22nd. Not a great homecoming for the Busch brothers.
But he never hit anything.
Martin Truex taking the checkered flag is today's Sunoco fueling victory.
He's been getting some practice doing donuts. That was a good one.
He's going to need some new tires when this is over with.
Cockpit full of smoke, suitcase full of money.
Yes, sir. Look at all that rubber over there from the tires.
That's his 5th win in the last 27 races. Wow.
Wave to the fans, take a bow. It's
no
great.
better feeling than that.
Get that flag.
There's that Sunoco checkered flag.
Capture that flag.
Yes, he did. Leads the most laps, wins every stage, and there's trouble on pit road.
Is that Kyle Busch in the middle there?
It's Kyle Busch and Logano.
Kyle Busch and Joey Logano's crewmen involved there. Let's show you what happened out on the track to precipitate this.
A little bit of blood on the forehead there, Kyle Busch.
I like the looks of this.
first, let's show you what happened on track between the 22 and the 18.
Going down the back straight away.
He's coming off 2, headed down the back.
Straight bow. They go to the inside of the 2. A little bit of contact. The 22 gets to the white line. Oh, he gets loose underneath them.
Yeah, he gets into him.
I mean, it certainly wasn't intentional. It's just aggressive driving, going for the position.
What's Kyle keep it? How did he keep it off?
And then this, after the drivers climbed out of their cars.
It's like Kyle goes after Joey when Joey tried to talk to him.
They pulled Joey away, and that's Kyle with the 22 crew. Vince.
With Joey Logano now, and Joey, what happened when Kyle came to the car? What transpired there?
There wasn't much talking, just a lot of swinging. You know, just, I don't know, I was racing hard there at the end with our Pennzoil Ford, and, you know, Kyle and I usually race really well together. We usually never have any issues, and he tried to, you know, pin me down into the corner underneath Brad, and we about crashed on entry, and then I was still trying to gather it up by the center, and I was going to spin out, so I'm trying to chase it up, and he was there. So, yeah, obviously nothing intentional, but obviously he thinks that, so I don't know, we'll move on.
Any blows landed between the two of you?
None to me.
Yeah, Joey was quickly pulled away from the center of the fight, which involved Kyle Busch and members of Joey Logano's crew. Well, let's leave this and take a look at today's 5-hour energy extra strength big move of the race, when Martin Truex takes the lead to stay. A wild finish and aftermath in Las Vegas.
Truex Jr., the first driver in NASCAR to drive for the cycle, all 3 stages, and then this on a separate stage. It was Joey Logano and Kyle Busch, both about 6'1" and 180. A fair fight, but never a punch landed, at least not on Logano. Left with a bloody face, Kyle Busch. Don't forget UFC on FS1 and Fox whenever you get the opportunity. We'll try and sort this out as well, but in victory lane, the guy who dominated today, the showstopper, Truex, is there with our Jimmy Wolf.
And it is officially the first win for the 2018 Toyota Camry. A big day for Toyota. Martin, you dominated the day, leading 150 laps, but at the end, the 2 had you. What was going through your mind when you saw him falling back right at the end with 2 to go?
It's a gift. I mean, you know, it's just, we've been on the other side of them plenty of times. This is the first one we've ever kind of had one come our way, but can't say enough about everybody on this team, Cole and Jazzy, and they made a lot of changes last night, and I said, let's go for it, and we did. So just really proud, you know, the first victory for the 2018 Camry out here on the West Coast. This is a big one for us. So tons of people to thank. Obviously, our team and Barney and Furniture Road, Denver Mattress, my buddy Johnny Morris here for believing in us and coming on this Carl Bass Pro and Tracker Boats, and everybody at Toyota, TRD, the engines they've been unbelievable this season so far, and so many people to thank. We got auto owners coming on back this year, and just all of our sponsors, Textron, Beechcraft, Garmin, everybody who makes this possible. It's a West Coast trip for everybody, but it's home for these guys, so this feels really good.
Stage racing is new. You guys made it exciting today. You won both stages and the race. From a driver's point of view, how much more fun are these races now?
They're still hard. They're still tough, and you still driving your butt off every single lap. I know I was, and you know, I felt like the race didn't play into our hands. That we had to go really long on that last set of tires, and Brad was really good on long run all day, and he was always catching us at the end, and we had to stretch it, and I was driving my little butt off. I couldn't keep him behind me, and you know, we got a little bit lucky there, but that's why you never give up and you fight till the end. And pit crew was unbelievable today, so I got to thank them and just everybody involved. I mean, it's a dream come true driving these cars for these guys, and hopefully we can keep this momentum going.
Martin Truex Jr. wins in Las Vegas for the first time. Matt?
Well, Brad Keselowski was able to soldier home to 5th. I don't know how to even describe the disappointment you must feel, but any idea what broke on the race car?
No, it was something pretty major because I lost brakes and the car wouldn't turn, so probably caused that wreck at the end. I just couldn't get out of the way. It just broke, but that's part of it, how it goes. I wish it was 265 laps, but it's not, so That's why you got to watch to the end, fans at home. You know, you win some this way, you lose some this way, and maybe we won one this way last week, and maybe we lost it this way this week. So it all works out in the end. But either way, I'm real proud of everybody on the Miller 2 crew to have really fast Ford Fusion, be able to run up front, lead laps, and be in position to win.
First and fifth the past 2 weeks.
Appreciate Brad talking to us. You can tell the disappointment in his voice, and we saw the speed of Ford's and particularly his car. So your speculation based on what he said, what went wrong?
Something in the right front, evidently, because it wouldn't turn, and he didn't have brakes, so it might have broken a hub or something over on the right front of the car. But that set up what was that crazy finish between Logano and Busch.
Well, and as you heard, he said he may have caused that, Martin Truex winning, but here, the 22, Joey Logano, and then Kyle Busch of the 18.
Kyle Busch decided he's going to cut left to miss Keselowski. Logano was there, and I don't think Joey took too kindly of it. A little loose on the bottom, but I think then it's just a matter of saying, you know, I'm going to bounce off you because I need to get to the start-finish line first.
And Logano saying he tried to pin me down underneath Keselowski. I wasn't having it. And you saw the aftermath when Kyle Busch seemed more upset about it than Joey Logano. Let's hear from Kyle Busch. He's standing by right now with our Vince Welch.
Kyle, what led to your anger at the end?
I got dumped. Flat out just drove straight in the corner and wrecked me.
Any conversation between you and Joey, or was it just the fisticuffs?
That's how Joey races, so he's going to get it.
All right, appreciate Kyle at least offering some comments there to Vince as he was heading out. And you see the blood. That's not from when he was racing in the car. That was from the altercation afterwards. So, Michael, he said, I got dumped. That's how Joey races. Do you agree with that?
No, I think it was just the last lap, man. Kyle made an aggressive move that took Joey down the track lower than he wanted to be. Joey was aggressively racing on the last lap. He got loose and they hit. I think they're both at fault, and they shouldn't have confronted each other like that.
Kyle Busch had a heck of a race, down, worked his way back up, but in the end, Martin Truex Jr. the winner. You win, you're in. Points do matter. Not only overall points with stages, which obviously Truex helped himself being the driving for the cycle, winning all 3 stages, but those playoff points as well.
And what a big day it was for Toyota. That 2018 Camry came out this year into NASCAR, and to get that first win for that organization, they flew the flag for Toyota today.
A monster performance from Martin Truex Jr. in the Monster Energy Series, 3rd race of the season. More in a moment. Bowdoin, New Jersey, to his Bass Pro Shops Toyota in Victory Lane in Las Vegas. Martin Truex Jr. This is the earliest win for him in his career. Celebrating with Michael Waltrip, Chris Myers here in Las Vegas. Let's head back upstairs, get some final thoughts from Jeff, Darrell, and Mike in a crazy go-nuts finish here in Las Vegas. Gentlemen.
You see Sherry Pollux there getting to celebrate with Martin. Just what a wonderful win. Brad Keselowski was driving away, and here's Truex, leads the most laps, wins stage 1, wins stage 2, is able to come back and go to victory lane because, folks, it's never over until it's over. I think Yogi Berra said that, but we can all say that. And then it wasn't even over. We've got cars spinning out and crashing all the way across the start-finish line, all the way back to Ricky Stenhouse, but most importantly, Kyle Busch, Joey Logano.
Yeah, I mean, when the white flag comes out, I mean, all bets are off. I mean, that was aggressive racing. Keselowski was in the way, and the 18 and the 22, you'll see right here, the 18 turns right down in front of Joey Logano. They made contact. Joey said, okay, I'll just drive it in here real hard. Man, he got loose. He got up into Kyle. They spin. That's just hard racing. That's all that is.
Yeah, I don't really see where Kyle had much of a choice. The 2-car of Brad Keselowski was really slowing down abruptly, and he had to go left. Maybe even Logano was trying to use that as a pick, right? Sure. So he goes left. They make contact. Obviously, that upsets the 22. They go in there. I thought the 18 gave him plenty of room as they got to the middle of 3 and 4, but Joey just drove in there so aggressively. They're just battling hard. That was just great racing on the final lap. Now, what happened on pit road? A little bit different. No. And I've been in this situation, and I know what it's like. You go to confront somebody, and you just don't like the way it's going, and sometimes it turns into a big mess like this.
8 tires are always better than 4.
Good hard racing led to plenty of hard feelings. Chris?
All right, life's a stage, and we're all performers or fighters on that stage. That look tells you the competitive nature of Kyle Busch, maybe a little bit over the top. But in the last 27 races, no driver has been more successful in the win column than Martin Truex Jr.
And what a duo he and Cole Pern are. They have done a nice job of communicating. We talked about Jazzy as engineers. That team is on a roll.
Tonight on Fox, Bob's Burgers, later Family Guy, and The Last Man on Earth. Don't forget Victory Lane, 9:30 Eastern, 6:30 Pacific. NASCAR goes west, the West Coast Swing, and the Monster Energy Cup Series continuing next Sunday in Phoenix, Arizona. From Michael Waltrip, I'm Chris Myers, our entire crew. Thanks for being a part of NASCAR on Fox.